of you.
I'm sorry.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
Gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. Got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.
Alright, welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. This is your friend Mr. BDA, and alongside with me as always my co-host, the one, the only King, Bucho. King, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Just go ahead and boost your volume up a little bit there, see how you sound.
Boy.
And glad everybody's here to join us. It's a beautiful Monday morning, or noon really, morning, what am I talking about, it's noon. And we had a little bit of time here to do an early show for everybody, to get on the news, the hottest news, as quickly as possible. So that's what we're doing here right now. Before we continue with the fun, because there is a lot to talk about, don't forget to check out our BDA Twitter page. Check out our Discord, the BDA Discord page, where we're having a lot of fun with everybody there. If you like the chat room and you enjoy the discussion that goes on there, you can go on the Discord page and do it 24/7. It's not dependent upon whether a show is going on or not, so that's the fun part of that. So check those things out, and if you want to keep the gravy train rolling, we have a lot of great things planned. The trivia show still being worked on. We're working on the site, the venue, the split for the purse, and what the final purse is going to be, the final prize. Revolucion, Bucho, and myself working hard at it. So if you want to contribute to that and some of the other upcoming projects we have, you can go to our Patreon page or PayPal page, or just donate via the super chat. Or if you don't have any shekels to give, simply support us by spreading the word, the BDA gospel. Go on other websites, or just give us a thumbs up, continue listening, continue commenting, and we would appreciate that very much. So thank you guys for being here. I want to give a shout out to some of the early birds that we have here: Mr. Coxey, Nes Mendoza, Triple JJJ, Apology Man, and many more to come. Virtuoso's in there, Magic Man, the Quags, Big Stiff Idiot. It's my ex-girlfriend used to call my cock. Subash Kun. That's right, Bucho. I'm starting with the dirty jokes right away. So Subash Kunwar in there. Shout out to him. Wexford DDJ. He says, "Hey guys, what's up, everybody?" Apology says, "I'm listening while doing my coursework." Bucho, what does that mean? Coursework.
Core work?
I think no. He says coursework.
I guess. I don't know, man.
I don't know what that means either, man.
Well, his class.
I thought he dropped out. Didn't he say he dropped out?
I don't know.
All right. By the way, don't boost your own volume up, because then if I boost you up, it sounds too hot.
Oh, I did, man.
Okay, well, it's okay now. Don't touch anything.
Okay.
All right, so Bucho, let's start out with the news of the day. An impromptu press conference by Eddie Hearn and some Arab I'm kidding. It's not an arrow. His name is Omar Kali, managing partner of Skill Challenge Entertainment, and they just announced, Bucho, the rematch between Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. The venue will be Saudi Arabia, but there's a lot of shenanigans going on, a lot of holes, and a lot of undecided details that make some people wonder whether this rematch is actually going to take place. What's going on here? You want to give us a rundown, the basic rundown?
Sorry. The rundown. Well, as you guys know, there was a sort of a press conference today, but Joshua and Ruiz weren't in this press conference. It was basically just Eddie Hearn and this guy. What was his name again?
Omar Khalil.
Yeah, from Saudi Arabia. He's in charge of what? Like Saudi entertainment. I don't know what the hell he was. Anyways, point is,
Great
these
break.
guys were just discussing. Was that?
No, yeah, keep going.
Yeah, we're just discussing like the whole announcing the fight basically and the logistics of it. But it's I feel like this press conference, the objective of it was just to make people believe that the fight is official. Which I think it is official, but then again, Ruiz is saying that he wants more money or else he won't be fighting. So maybe that's why they had this press conference, just to like send a message to Ruiz saying, like, you know what, like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. This fight's happening no matter what the hell you say.
Yeah, it's interesting because it makes sense when you include what was happening prior in the couple of days prior to this press conference. A lot of talking about how Ruiz wanted more money. I'm looking at here some of what people are saying in the discussion, and some people are saying supposedly Ruiz is not on board to fight AJ in Saudi Arabia. So there's some, indications that Ruiz is not happy with the location and that he wasn't consulted for this. He seems to believe that since he's the champ now, or holds the titles at least, that he deserves to call the shots to a certain extent. This other person says, from what I understand, it's not the location. He's just asking for more money. Apparently, what is being paid, $9 million, was what was in the rematch clause. But some numbers have floated around about how much the Saudis are putting up for this fight. So we're going to get to that later. But Bucho, yeah, essentially, that's your explanation makes sense about how they're announcing this just to get on the clear and say, no, it's happening. Don't worry about it, people.
So in the contract, it said, the initial contract for the first fight said if there was ever a rematch, it specified the amount that Ruiz was going to be making.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess, like you said, because now with the fights in Saudi Arabia, there's all this money that's coming in. He wants a piece of the pie now, right?
Oh, he likes his pie, man.
Pie. Yeah, and then it was a weird press conference. I mean, they were just talking about how Saudi Arabia is like having all these events now, like how they had the WWE Royal Rumble, the European Golf Tour, or something, the Formula One, I believe, and I think they showed this video of like a concert. I think it was David Guetta or one of these guys. And everybody's like jumping around and it's like seems very festive and shit. But then again, there's there's always those criticisms of Saudi Arabia about how they have no human rights. How as you know, you can't drink alcohol over there, or you're not supposed to. So I don't know how much of a party atmosphere is gonna be.
Yeah, that's the thing, and like you said, they announced this fight pretty quick. By the way, Butcher, just real quick, I went on Blog Talk and it says the episode's not set yet, so.
Oh no, I just have to press go live.
Well, go ahead and press it. We want to take phone calls as quickly as possible.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Meanwhile, to that theory that you have about how they want to announce this fight as quickly as possible, I'm assuming I'm not a business savvy guy. I don't know. All my dealings are done by our attorney, Rayful Shapiro. So one thing that it seems to me is going on here is, like Bucha said, they're trying to rush this fight. They're putting on this mini press conference to get people on board and say, no, it's done. It's everything's set up, because they do have investors. We're gonna get to those numbers later on, but they get some big investors from Saudi Arabia putting up some big bucks for this one. And so I think they want to assure these people, like, hey, listen, we everything's set. Don't worry about it. Everything's set. Don't you worry about a thing. But of course, they do have to worry because Andy Ruiz feels like he is not being considered or consulted for this. And it's also interesting because if you look at this headline from Boxing Scene from today, they say neither participant present at Ruiz Joshua 2 announcement presser. So you really do have to wonder what's going on. Why weren't those guys? I mean, it's a press conference to announce the fight, and they didn't include the fighters. And so far, what they say here in the article, I think it's in this article, is they mentioned that the only response from Ruiz so far is that he liked a tweet announcing the fight. So he hasn't even tweeted that saying, yes, I'm ready for the fight. So here's the details, people. The night of June the 1st presented blah, blah, blah. Now, hold on a second. I'm trying to look for the location. It's going to be in the capital, they say, I think.
Well, it's in the outskirts.
In the
I Google
outskirts,
mapped it. It's not far. Actually, it's like 30 minutes away from the airport. It's basically in the capital of Riyadh.
By the way, there's somebody in the chat room. Crikey. Did I already? Okay, Ricardo Shilly Shally says AJ is a converted Muslim and wants to fight where Mecca is. Is he a converted Muslim, Bucho? I mean, is he a Muslim?
I don't know if converted. Some people have said that there's a video clip or something of him like praying in a mosque.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Okay.
That's all I've heard.
Well, we've seen
and I didn't even see the video, so I cannot confirm this.
Right. Yeah, we've seen Justin Trudeau in mosques all over the Canadian plains.
Oh yeah, we've seen him dressed like a Hindu.
Exactly. But that doesn't, he's a chameleon. That doesn't mean he's a Muslim or a Sheikh or whatever. You know what I mean? So he dresses up all the time. So just because Joshua was in a mosque doesn't necessarily mean it's... I want some confirmation because it is interesting because this would add a whole other dynamic. James Erickson says, Mr. BDA sounds Arabic. All right, so which one is it, guys? Do I sound Polish? Do I sound Russian? Do I sound Filipino? Because that's what somebody said once. Now I sound Arabic. Which one is it, man? Triple JJJ says Anthony Alashua. Alashua. Ricardo says BDA AJ is a converted Muslim and wants to fight where Mecca is. Yeah, you already said that. I want some confirmation that he's Muslim. Did you see him praying at Mecca? No, I did not. Joe Lopez says Mr. BDA was part of the Heaven's Gate cult. David Abraham says hello, gents. Hello there, David. Good to have you on board. Boxing Kingdom says he's Muslim BDA 100%. Okay, so we're getting some confirmation here, but I still want to see some proof because it's interesting. It's just interesting if he does fight in Saudi. Because here's the thing, Bucha. Some people are saying, well, if he fights in Saudi Arabia, then it's going to be biased towards his favor. And that would make more sense if he's Muslim. But then again, let's face it, man. Whether the fight takes place in Saudi Arabia, in London, in New York again, won't the odds be always on his favor, on his side? Because he is the A side in this. Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah, no, I think he's always gonna be the A side. So it doesn't matter where the fight takes place, to be honest. Even in Mexico.
Sorry, Gimme the Loot says AJ was on all fours on in the first fight, so I'm sure he's Muslim. So we're getting a lot of jokes here, whether he's Muslim or not. You know what? He does pack some dynamite on his punches, so maybe he is Muslim. Pucho, what do you think about that?
Yes, very explosive, man.
That's right.
But I was just gonna say the phone lines are open. Block Talk. You just need to do whatever you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And Eddie Hearn mentioned something about how this fight in Saudi Arabia is actually good for boxing.
I'm sure
if it is successful, then it's gonna grow the sport in other parts of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that could be true, though. I mean,
come on.
It is, though. It is. I mean, but by the way, they were talking about the logistics. Now, apparently, a flight from the UK to Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia, it's around 5 hours, and there's daily flights, so it's not like it's hard to get from the UK to Saudi Arabia. And then apparently, once you buy a ticket, you immediately get with the ticket a 30-day visa.
Oh,
like tourist visa, so you can travel and stay there for 30 days.
I think they also
So that-
said that they give you a stick to beat your wife with if she gets out of hand.
I
If she
think
gets
I
too
think
lippy.
so. I think it comes with a ticket.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into it, but for sure you get a visa, man.
Nice.
So I mean, it's not maybe that complicated to get because some people are like again the logistics. They were complaining about the logistics side of the whole thing. 5 hours, daily flights, 3-day visa. Why
5
not?
hours, it ain't bad, right? 5 hours. What else is that? Like
Well, from Canada from to Mexico is like 4 hours. Oh no, was it 4 hours? Yeah, it was 4 hours.
all right, so while Bucho gets his act
So
together.
it's not that bad, man. I mean, fuck. I mean, I don't know. Thunderdome says, "Does the loser get stoned to death?"
Yeah, they get buried. They get buried there, and oh my goodness gracious! Listen,
Hey, but what if that sports girl scene like those in the Middle East, though? That could be good for boxing.
it could, but listen,
They have a lot of money in some of these countries.
Oh yeah, that is true. They do have a lot of numbers, a lot of shekels. By the way, people, the phone lines are open, so if you want to call in, numbers right up there in the. You know what? I'm gonna change the color. I don't like how it looks in yellow. But yeah, give us a call. Let us know. We got a lot to talk about this fight. A lot of different facets to this ongoing saga. Bucho, you mentioned the money, right?
Yes.
And I'm looking at an article here from Metro.co. I always forget about this. Which of these UK rags are actually the yellow journalists? Because I know if it's the Independent, I don't know if it's the Telegram, but there's one that's like the equivalent of those gossip magazines, I think. So if somebody out there, some Brits in the audience can tell us, in the chat room can tell us which one it is. But anyway, tell us if the Metro is reliable. So we get this article here from Metro.co UK, whatever the hell it is, and it says Saudi Arabia backers spent close to 100 mil to bring Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz to Diriyah. And okay, it says about the shark, blah blah blah. And it says the Telegraph reports that Saudi Arabian sports entities have put up to close to 100 million US dollars, that's 83 million pounds, for the contest to take place there. The Athletics' Mike Hoppinger reports that in excess of 40 mil was paid as a side fee. 40 mil. Now I was trying to find out what the side fee was for the Canelo Triple G2 fight. I couldn't find anything, but it seems like it's a pretty high side fee, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
It says Ruiz is set to receive just 7.5 million pounds. I mean, just come on, that's a pretty big payday. Who else is going to get that type of payday against? How much would he get paid against Wilder, Bucho?
Some fucking weirdos were saying that would have been a $200 million fight. I'm like, where the hell did you get that number, man? 100 million?
Wait, what?
No, less. You mean like how much would the fight be worth?
How much would Ruiz get paid against Wilder? How much do you think?
Oh, sorry, man. Against Wilder?
Yeah.
Like, but depends on when. Like after the AJ fight, after the first one, after the second one. I don't know. Well, listen. This is the thing. If Ruiz beats AJ again, he becomes, in my opinion, one of the most popular boxers in the United States just because of the Mexican fan base. I mean, I think he becomes more popular than Deontay Wilder, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt
I don't even
about
think Deontay Wilder's that popular, man. I know people are going to tell me, oh, no, in the streets, they talk about Wilder. Yeah, for sure. They talk about Broner, too. But, man, come on. That doesn't mean that they're popular like what, Canelo. You know what I mean? And if Ruiz beats Joshua a second time, let me tell you, he becomes more popular than Canelo Alvarez.
Because of that ever elusive Mexican
heavyweight
support. Yeah, and the ever elusive Mexican heavyweight, and you get the support. Here's the bottom line about Deontay Wilder is that he's going up. His cachet, his Q rating is going up. He was on the Joe Rogan Experience. The Fury fight got a lot of press. Even though, of course, most people feel he lost the fight, but the bottom line is his name was out there. So he's become a little bit more popular. The problem is that prior to the Joshua fight, Fury was out there asking people, to the Wilder fight, Fury was out there asking people, do you know who Wilder is? Do you know who Wilder is? Nobody knew who he is. So
nobody knows.
Alabama, he's an A-lister. which means
Well,
he's
he
an
didn't
F.
even sell out in Alabama, from what I understand.
I
And in
mean,
New York also against Ortiz, that didn't sell out, and it was supposed to be one of his biggest fights. I mean, of course, you look at his record and the knockouts, and oh my god, this guy's like Mike Tyson, but he's not popular, man.
now here's the thing, though. This is from the today, and apparently Andy Ruiz appears to send a message to Anthony Joshua over rematch announcement. This is from 9:59 a.m., so we might have missed this, but it says Andy Ruiz has finally broken his silence on social media after Anthony Joshua announced the rematch would take place in Saudi Arabia in December. Joshua and his team made the announcement last Friday, but neither Ruiz nor his camp have made an official statement on the fight or joined the promotion. Now here it says the WBO and champ has appeared to send a message to Joshua by hinting that he was ready to fight anywhere. So this is from an Instagram post. He says, "There you see Andy Ruiz leaning on his car. How come he's not? How come that car is not dented though, Bucho?
Oh, it probably got dented.
It probably got dented.
Look at that
Imagine,
shit.
see that's the other thing. Imagine, imagine he's leaning on the car and then he gets up and you see a big brown stain.
Ah, fuck! What the man?
I'm just asking. I'm just asking what would happen if that, if they took a picture of that, then he would become a living meme. Anyway, here's what he said. He says, "I'm ready for anything that comes my way. You can't scare me with a good time. Blessing to all of my people, family." Oh, I think he meant fans. To all my people, fans, family, everyone that God in their has what? Fan, family, everyone that has God in their heart. Much love, and remember, dreams come true. So he's saying, "I'm ready for anything." That means does that mean that he has accepted the fact that this fight is going to be taking place in Saudi Arabia? That he's going to have to travel to that patch of desert people call the Holy Land?
Listen, he's holding out on this thing. If in the contract, if in the initial contract said you're gonna get this amount of money if the rematch ever take place, then that's it, man. He has no choice. Now he's just trying to play. Listen, these Saudis are bringing in a lot of money. He just
Oh, yeah.
again, he wants a piece of that fucking pie, man. But if it's in the contract, it's in the contract, man. Listen, he should have. He's lucky he even fought Joshua, man. That fight wasn't even supposed to take place.
Exactly. And you know what? Here's the thing that's bothering me right now is that we have this case going on, all these shenanigans about whether the fight's going to take place or not. First of all, it's not even that big a fight. The only reason this fight is interesting is because of what happened in the first one, right? So this is the drama of what can Joshua do, what can Ruiz do. Bottom line, though, is Joshua, if he wins this fight, there's still that asterisk next to his name, or actually next to his chin, I should say. We don't even know if he gets, depending on how he gets his revenge. Let's face it, his name is solid right now, right?
It is, yeah.
So he has, the only way he wins this is if he wins in spectacular fashion. But a lot of people don't feel that he
No,
can
not
even...
really. No, I disagree.
Okay.
AG doesn't have to win spectacular fashion. He just has to win, and the fact that he overcame that knockout loss with a win, no matter how that win takes place, people are gonna start to forget about that loss.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, remember, people, boxing fans, we have fickle minds. So you're only as good as your last fight. All right. It's like when I was in the business back in LA, you were only as good as your last performance. One limp dick, and all of a sudden you're an asshole. All right. So it's the same thing in boxing. If you lose a fight, you're a bum, and if you win the next fight, and then or if you score a couple of knockdowns or a knockout against a couple of bumps, people all of a sudden forget the bad performances.
Yeah.
Okay. People are saying that Ruiz might have had a melted Snickers on his back, BDA, so don't assume that it's shit. Okay, that's a good point. Nes Mendoza says he has accepted to be a Muslim sounded. What? He has accepted to be a Muslim sounded. The Quack says, I think Ruiz is all wrong for Wilder. Thorndome says he has accepted the fact that he's just selling the belts back to AJ. Box says Joshua is chinny. Hands of Stone says, if AJ is so confident about the real AJ showing up in his next fight, give Ruiz at least a $20 million flat fee. Whoa. But does Ruiz deserve that type of money? Because, okay, he won the first fight, but how many fans can he really bring? We haven't seen, post Joshua, we haven't seen if he can fill up an arena himself. So why would they pay him 20 mil? Is he worth 20 mil, Butcher? I mean, do you
listen, he's pretty popular now, though. I mean, you saw after he beat Joshua, Ruiz was all over the fucking place. In Mexico, he's super popular now.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he's a heavyweight, and Mexico never had a heavyweight champion. But I don't know. I don't know how you gauge how much he's worth, though.
Well, that's what I was asking rhetoric. I mean, what was the...
Yeah.
How much would he receive?
I guess he's worth. I don't know, man. As a percentage, you want to gauge it like that? Like, how much should he be getting? Obviously, not 50%, but how much would you say though? 30%?
Yeah,
He's
that
the
seems fair,
champion.
man. 60-40, that's when it's A lister versus B plus lister. You know, that's when it's that type of arrangement. But Ruiz, we
Yeah.
don't know how many fans is he going to bring any Mexican fans over to Saudi Arabia? Because we know the British fans travel. We know they pack up
Yeah.
arenas because they're a bunch of drunks that have nothing to do, right? So, but
Yeah.
you know, Mexicans are drunks too. Don't get me wrong. I'm Mexican. I can say it.
The arena holds 12,000 people, and apparently, Rihan is saying that because of the reception that this fight has gotten,
Hmm.
he maybe expects 15 million, 15,000. Like maybe they can expand the arena or something. I don't know, but he said like he expects maybe 15,000. But the arena officially holds 12,000 people right now.
12,000. That's a lot of people.
I mean, that's like the MGM, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not bad, but it's not a fucking soccer stadium or something like that.
Where did you? What's the name of that location? Did you say?
The city is called Diriyah.
Right.
It's in the outskirts of Riyadh, the capital.
Yeah, because I was looking for the arena where it might take place, and I couldn't find anything. What did you say the name is?
Oh no, that's the city or whatever. Like, but
Right, but
the
what's...
name of I don't know. Pete sent me like a picture of it.
I was looking. I looked at the city, Diriyah, and all I found was pictures of ruins. So I don't know if they're going to be fighting it. That would be pretty epic, though. You fighting amongst ancient ruins, and it would be pretty apocalyptic. You get some Pink Floyd playing in the background. That would be a cool ambience to set up. They really want to do something new. Instead of playing all the fucking... They always play, Vicente Fernandez during the fights when there's the Mexicans, and then they'll play that Neil Diamond song for the Brits. And I mean, come on,
man.
play something that really sets the mood. You know, some Riza or something from that Fourth Chamber, whatever it was called, that album. Pretty apocalyptic sounding. Get some new ambience. Can't say that enough. What else was I going to talk about here? Because we have a lot of things to get through. Bucho, the articles here that I have is Andy Ruiz trainers voices frustration over Joshua venue reveal, and it says that what you saw something on the chat?
Yeah, no, it's nothing.
Oh, okay.
So somebody said diarrhea. I mean, like
Diarrhea. Oh, that's Uncle Berta. Jeez, come on, man.
All right, go ahead.
Well, you know that story, right? About the Saudi Arabians that they ship all these Instagram hoes over to Saudi Arabia and then they shit on them.
Yeah, for sure they do that, man.
Yeah.
But you don't see that picture. You only see the picture of the girl on that fucking yacht on her boat, or you know,
or she's got a picture of what she's eating, and she always
exactly
says,
the food she's eating in an expensive restaurant. But you don't see when the guy's shitting on her face, right?
And she says, to all my haters, and she puts a picture of purses, Gucci purses that she bought and
worked hard
everything.
for this.
She worked
I
hard.
guess it's hard work though.
Yeah, well, man, yeah.
Can
Listen,
you shit on your face?
It isn't. Spend all that shit money on shit you need. Purses, perfumes, shoes. Women love their shoes, let me tell you. I don't think that's any news. All right, so Ruiz interaction has been limited to simply liking a posted tweet. Oh, and that's the other thing, Bucho. They were saying that there weren't any DAZN logos in that press conference.
Oh no. Somebody said that on our Facebook page, I think, and I immediately I posted a bunch of posters that said DAZN on them.
Because I'm looking
you
at
can
the
look
picture
on our Facebook page.
Okay, because I'm looking at the picture here of the
I
press
know there's no DAZN logo, but I have another. Actually, I went to the YouTube channel, and they have an announcement there.
Okay.
Somewhere on DAZN. It's official. It's on DAZN. Don't worry.
Okay, now clarify something for me again, by the way. This fight in England, you have to watch it through Sky Sports, right? It's not on DAZN.
Box office, pay-per-view, yes.
Oh, pay-per-view. The Brits are still stuck with the pay-per-view. What do you like
we kind of are as well here. And it's even worse where we live in Canada because fucking Jean Pascal fights and stuff like that, they're on pay-per-view, right?
Yeah, that's true. This is what Sky Sports is telling the British public.
Sabrina, don't just stare at it, eat it.
That's right. Eat it. Get on your knees and eat it. Fucking degenerates.
Naughty.
All right, listen. The point is that's essentially what's going on here. There's a lot of shenanigans. Where was I with the? Hold on a second. I'm trying to reorganize here because I was talking about Ruiz's trainer. Oh yeah, so Ruiz's trainer saying he's not happy, or that Ruiz is not happy that we haven't been consulted. He says, but at the end, of course, he has to add that he's not afraid of where the fight takes place. He says, at the end of the day, we're willing to fight any place, anywhere. That's what the champion does. You know what I mean? If it means going to Wales or going to England or going to Saudi Arabia. The other thing is, Bucho, some people are voicing their concerns. Some British fans are saying, well, listen, why isn't the fight taking place in England? We've supported Joshua when he fought, Chisora, not Chisora, White, when he fought Klitschko, Povetkin, all these fighters. Now, all of a sudden, this fight, which is pretty high stakes for him, I mean, if he loses, he might just be done. Let's face it. He might never recover from this. So, high stakes fight, entertaining fight, and it's not taking place in jolly old England. What do you think about that, Bucho?
I don't care.
Oh.
The fight can take anywhere. I don't know. I don't care. I don't really care. As long as it's not a fight in Japan or something and you have to watch it at 9 a.m. or something like that, then it's okay with me.
Oh, that's
the fight's going to be, I think, around 5 p.m. Eastern time.
That's what I wanted to ask you. So it's going to be taking place 5 p.m. Eastern time here in North America?
Yes. I think they haven't really announced it, but it would make sense. That means that the fight would be taking place at midnight in Saudi Arabia, and then 10 p.m. in the UK, 5 p.m. over here.
Now midnight, that's the witching hour.
2 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, that's the witching hour. Midnight, when we used to do the midnight podcast, remember that? It was always at midnight. Yeah. All right, so Magic Man is telling me, BDA, the venue is Faisal bin Fahd Stadium. And I'm looking at some pictures here. First of all, I don't understand why the pictures look like they were taken in the 1980s. It looks like it was taken with film. Also, the stands here, they're pretty far away from the actual center. Is this the place you said that houses 12,000 people? Or
yes, it has to be.
Okay, so there's Prince Faisal bin Fahd Stadium, and then there's King Fahd International Stadium. Magic Man, are you sure it's not going to be taking place in King Fahd Stadium? Because that seems like the bigger venue. I don't know if...
Hey, BDA.
Yes.
Mr. BDA.
Yeah. yes. What?
Thunderdome's talking about that video that I told you about, where you see Andre Ruiz hitting the
pads.
Pads. Yeah.
The mitts. Actually, is he hitting the mitts or is he hitting the circle thing there?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. That's circled. I don't know how you call it.
I forget how it's called. It's pretty light, by the way. I always thought it was heavier. All right, so you want to send me the link? We'll put it up there because it does...
Yeah. I'm sending you on BDA White.
Okay. All right, I got it. Also, I wanted to say... Read a couple of comments from the chat room, please.
All right.
While I
let's
copy
see what we
paste
have in the
this.
chat here. By the way, guys, just remember the phone lines are open if you want to talk to us about this announcement of the fight. Already, they had already announced the fight, right? But now apparently it is official because Eddie Hearn and the rest of these guys are making us believe that the fight's happening. Pete is saying Hearn said they're building a new stadium from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you hear that, BDA? They're building a new stadium, supposedly. Okay. Box is calling me Bin Bucho. Okay. What else? What else do we have here? Back Masker is saying stupid English fans will go, stupid English fans will get arrested. Same old story.
wait.
That's potential. Yeah, that's true though.
Who said
you
that?
have the hooligans always making their presence felt.
Wait, who said that in the chat room?
Jesus, I forgot. I lost the name. Backmaster. Backmasker.
Yeah. Stupid English.
Well, it's. I mean, a lot of them get drunk. You know that. Saint Brit says, us English can't act like hooligans in Saudi Arabia. We'll get executed. I think even the fear of execution won't stop these hooligans from getting drunk. But then again, the access to alcohol is what my concern is. Is that even possible?
Pretty sure they're gonna
get alcohol there.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna do some exceptions. It's like the World Cup in Qatar. They're gonna loosen up a little bit. There's too much money for them to tell these people, listen, no beer, no alcohol. Come on.
Joe Lopez 40 ounce says, "Can I call and talk to you guys about climate change?"
Yeah, what's up with
Sure.
what's up with the climate change? There was somebody else also brought up in climate change.
What climate change?
I don't know what I don't know what Jose
I think
Lopez
about
talking.
it in Saudi Arabia or something. Or?
Maybe Jose Lopez. I think you've been drinking too many 40 ounces. Are you sure you didn't call us Javier the other day? Or what was the guy's name?
Is he
Jesus.
Javier? I don't think he's
Jesus.
Javier.
Jesus. Anyway, all right.
That guy was fucked up.
I got the video here. By the way, because we're talking a lot about the outside story of the fight, about the negotiations, the location. Bottom line is the fight, though. Can Joshua win this fight? And we're gonna get to that too later on. We're gonna invite a couple of people over from the hangouts, or not hangouts, Discord. I always call it hangouts. Anyway, here's the picture that Bucho and Thunderdome were alluding to, the video rather. This is Ruiz hitting that thing there, not the pads, the mitts, but anyway, look at how. I mean, that's for a guy his size, pretty quick.
Yeah, that's
if you ask
fucking
me.
fast, man. You know, Gonzalo keeps comparing him with Mike Tyson. I mean, there's obviously differences, but speed-wise, there's a similarity there. I mean, Mike Tyson was a bit faster, but
well, he's not that far
pretty
off.
Explosive, though.
Yeah, he's not that far off, man. With that comparison. Now, Bucho, before we start inviting people over, and yeah, by the way, people call in. If you want to call in, and we're also gonna start inviting a couple of people for the to talk about this and the actual fight itself. Not so much the outside influences. We're gonna get past that a little bit here. All right. So this is from Monday, August the 12th. Eddie Hearn shoots dead claims that Andy Ruiz is refusing to sign the contract. So he said that the fight is confirmed. Yes, I read several reports yesterday. Both fighters have signed for the rematch fight. All the governing bodies have been told and confirmed by both sides the date and venue for this event. Saudi Arabia has hosted 2 boxing events in the last year, the super middleweight fight. But of course, even though they've had these events that you also mentioned, Bucho, the WWE and... Is Saudi Arabia the one that holds the... No, that's Abu Dhabi, right? Which one's the one that holds the... Is Abu Dhabi in Saudi Arabia? You know I'm geographically retarded, Bucho.
No, that's UAE.
United Arab Emirates, right. Okay, so it's not the same thing, but they're trying to carry on that tradition of holding big sporting events with all that big oil money that they have. Problem is, Bucho, now people are starting to say that this fight... First of all, okay, the Brits are complaining that the fight shouldn't take place in England. I mean, that the fight should be taking place in England, right? Hey, by the way, did you start another... Can you hear me? He started another. He invited people, and now I'm out of the group. Mikey. Yeah, how do I get back on this thing? Sorry about this, ladies and gentlemen. Having some technical difficulties here. So Bucho called Cameron, and now I'm stuck. Yeah. Okay. Did you call Cameron?
Yeah, then I don't know. I called Cameron and I got kicked out.
Yeah, me too. I got kicked out. I think I should do it. Did he want an invite, or did you just...
You call him.
Okay, I'll call him.
I actually called Pete, and then once you call Pete, we can get a link, and I can send the link.
Okay. But hold on, I just want to talk real quick. By the way, Corruption Box is king. Am I on Discord?
Shit. Let me look for him. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Corruption. You tell us. Have you joined do you have a Discord account?
I don't see him.
Yeah, Corruption. You gotta...
Oh, he's on Skype. I'll send him a link on Skype.
Fantastic. Okay, so I just wanted to talk real quick about this because they're talking now about how the fight should be in England. That's what some British fans are saying. I don't think they want to travel to Saudi. Then thing, like Bucho said, they'll travel anywhere, but it's still, they would prefer it in England. Now Amnesty International is coming in and saying that they don't want the fight there because it's an attempt to sports wash their bad reputation. First of all, they have a bad reputation in the way they treat women. They do still have slavery there. They use a lot of Pakistani cheap labor, I believe. I think it's Pakistani or some Asian, Southern Asian type labor. They also have Africans there working as slaves, unofficially, obviously. They're talking about that journalist that got dismembered in the embassy. Was it the U.S. embassy in Saudi Arabia? Oh no, I think it was the Saudi Arabia embassy somewhere else. I don't forget the details, but there was that guy that got chopped up, and the Saudi Arabia has refused to give cooperation or tell the truth of what happened there. So there's a lot of things going on. So it says here the criticism. Amnesty International UK's head of campaigns, Felix Jackins, that sounds like the name of some kickboxer. He says that Joshua should inform himself of the human rights situation and be prepared to speak out about Saudi Arabia's abysmal human rights record. If Anthony Joshua fights Andy Ruiz in Saudi Arabia, it's likely to be yet another opportunity for the Saudi authorities to try to sports wash their severely tarnished image, he added. Despite some long overdue reforms on women's rights, Saudi Arabia is currently in the grip of a sweeping human rights crackdown, with women's rights activists, lawyers, and members of the Shia minority community all being targeted. There's been no justice over the gruesome murder of Jamal Khashoggi, which is the journalist that I talked about, and the Saudi-led military coalition in Yemen that is carrying out indiscriminate attacks on homes, hospitals, and marketplaces with horrific consequences. Don't forget, people, there is an embargo right now from Saudi Arabia on Yemen, on the little conflict that they're having. I think there was also an outbreak of cholera or some disease that we haven't seen for hundreds of years because of that embargo. A lot of people are dying in Yemen. And just looking at that now, the headlines recently, Saudi Arabian-led coalition in Yemen has been accused of carrying out a genocide after its latest airstrike killed 140 people at a funeral. All right, so I haven't done a lot of... Oh, phone call. All right, so you see where I'm going with this, and I want to get back on that a little later, but okay, 727, you're on the air, 727.
Hello?
Yes, hello, 727. Please identify yourself and tell us what you want to talk about. All right. That's my ringtone, by the way. All right, 727. We get it. What do you want to talk about, man?
I call you right back.
What?
This is I call you right back.
All right.
All right.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be getting there.
Yeah, that's all it's gonna. I mean, London fans, I mean, UK fans. If you go over there, that's what you're gonna be getting. Walking all over. Isn't that Sweden too, by the way, Bucho? When you're walking down Sweden streets or German
I think
streets?
Sweden is the same thing. I think they would, yeah.
All right. So also, I wanted to talk.
All right, invite BDA. Invite Pete. I cannot invite anybody else unless you invite somebody first.
Okay, I'm gonna invite them. Hold on a second. But the point is,
in like 5 minutes. All right.
I want to talk about this. So Amnesty International is criticizing it, right? And they've already had the Khan fight and the Billy Dib fight. Supposedly, American keeps saying that it's going to take place. He's going to fight Pacquiao there later in the year, which nobody's been talking about other than himself. So I'm looking at here from the Immigration and Refugee Board of Canada, Bucho, which we've had run-ins with them based on some of the content we've had before. Remember that a couple of years ago on the BDA channel or the Proto BDA channel. But this says Saudi Arabia treatment of racial minorities, particularly Black African Saudi nationals, by society and authorities. Now, there's a lot of speculation here. You see the sources here from this report, but there's no actual proof yet. It's all speculation. It's all hearsay. It's all anecdotes. But they say that an estimated 10% of Saudi Arabian population is of Black African descent. Okay. They also say several sources indicate that Saudi nationals of African descent are subject to racial discrimination. There's also some reports that they have to eat, they're not being taken care of over there, and that African women in Saudi Arabia have to wade through garbage in order to find sustenance. African women scavenge through garbage in Jeddah in undignified and unhygienic conditions, according to the CDHR director.
Sounds like Detroit.
Oh, come on, Buchu. So he says that Saudis of African descent are also subject to stigmatization and social segregation. Saudis of African descent have to have been recognized to have the same legal rights as other Saudi nationals, according to the official statement from Saudi Arabia. But then again, they still have. I know for a fact that in the UAE, they were talking about when they built that huge tower, the tallest building in the world, they used slaves there. They didn't pay them. They were very loose and lax with the safety regulations, and they wouldn't allow them to sleep all that much or rest, and the pay was awful. Saudi sources indicate that many black African Saudi nationals are the descendants of slaves. Because remember, there's a big trade of African slaves in the Arab world. So a lot of people love to talk about the slave trade from 300 years ago by Europeans. Not a lot of people talk about the Muslims and their slaves that they still going on today. Markets in Libya of African slaves. In correspondence with the research directorate, who is African descent, who was born in Saudi Arabia, he says the government does not recognize racial discrimination as an issue. So they don't see that as an issue. So Bucho, bottom line is, why is Anthony Joshua, a man who is very proud of his African heritage, his strong black African heritage, why is he fighting in Saudi Arabia, where, as far as we know it, Africans are treated like crap?
Money.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if you remember, there's a picture of him saying how he was, I think it's a fake picture. I don't know if somebody can confirm or not. He's with David Hay, and he's posing with a picture with a female police officer from Britain, I think, and he's saying, this is not how we would treat in the United States or something like that. And I'm thinking, all right, you're saying that US is a racist country. What about Saudi Arabia with African slaves? You know, so it makes you wonder, though, because all this, there's a big rift between US American, Afro-Americans and the Africans from, or British people of African descent. The British people of African descent seem to think that they're superior because they weren't slaves, okay? But then, of course, their brothers and sisters are still being slaves over in the Muslim world. So, as far as I know, they do nothing to help them out. So, Bucho, why do they feel so superior to black Americans?
That's a good question, man. I really don't have an answer for that. And the chat's getting very riled up here with our comments, so maybe we should stop.
No, I disagree. I think we should continue.
You want to take it all the way?
Oh, we're going all the way, baby. Also, here's the thing, though. Where would you rather be a slave in? The United States or Saudi Arabia?
I guess U.S.
Yeah, exactly. People say there's no right answer. A slave is a slave. I disagree. First of all, there's no slavery in the United States.
No.
Listen,
hey, you can always escape to Canada if you're in the U.S. and you're in Saudi Arabia. I don't know where the hell you go.
Exactly. Listen, think about it. Put it this way. The United States, okay, they got their slavery. What was it? 300 years? Let's take it all the way to Jim Crow, which was what, the 1960s, the end of Jim Crow? All right, fine. Look at the black people in the US now. They're thriving. They got the rap culture, right? They're big stars in the rap community. Everybody wants to be black now. A lot of white people say they're ashamed of being white and they don't want to reproduce anymore. They got the NFL, the NBA. They get to play PlayStation. They get to be on the cover of video games. Saudi Arabia. What are you going to do if you're a black person in Saudi Arabia? There's no NBA. You're not going to be on the cover of video games. You're going to be, instead of building snow, in the US, they got snow. Over in Saudi Arabia, all they got is sand. Can't make a snowman with sand. It's ridiculous. What are you, insane? So that's my thing about this whole...
You could put some water and make like a fucking... Build like a sand castle.
All right. Enough of this shenanigans.
All right, hey, guy, just invite...
Okay, stop calling me, stop calling me, guy. Guy. What are you? A white guy from Oregon?
Guy. Come on, guy.
Come on, Chad. Stop fucking around, Chad. We gotta go to NASCAR. Shut up. Stop calling me guy. Stupid fucking Bucho. See what I gotta deal with, people? Stupid fucking Bucho. Who's drunk right now, by the way?
I can't be drunk. It's like...
All right, hold on a second.
Anyways, listen.
Yes.
Send a goddamn link for the love of God, because people want to get in and I can't do anything. I keep telling them, but I have to wait for BDA.
Okay.
You're giving a fucking sermon here.
Well, I told you we weren't going to invite people right away. Didn't I tell you that?
One of your
he can't listen
meetings,
to me. He can't listen. All right. I told you we weren't going to be sending the links right away.
Yeah, but you said...
All right. I invited Johnny Boy.
All right.
Johnny Boy.
Now I can send the links.
Oh, you can send them? Okay.
Yeah, I could. My God, man. You're not paying attention.
I
can't
did.
send the links unless you invite
All right. Who cares? Bucho, you always go down to the past. You said this. You said that. No, you didn't
No,
understand.
but because
Shut
okay,
up.
but
Move forward. Move forward and send that goddamn
man,
invite.
you're retarded, man. I'll have to take over the show from now on. See,
Yes.
Él se la va a
people were waiting. We're waiting for a decent
What a
show.
cunt! I can't
See,
believe
Johnny
it.
Boy now left. Johnny Boy, you scared Johnny Boy away now.
Nah, it's because he didn't answer.
No. So you didn't call John. Okay. So call Pete. He's gonna answer.
Here's what
Once
I said.
he
I said I
answers-
called. Here's what I said. I said I'll call Johnny, but he didn't answer. Oh, so you didn't call
Oh.
him? How could if I called him
No,
and he
you
didn't
don't
answer? That means
understand
I
how
called.
this works. All right, let me explain it to you. You need to invite somebody. Then that somebody has to actually join the chat. Once he joins the chat and we have at least 3 people, then I can send the link. All right.
That's right.
Johnny was probably taking a shit. Now Pete is
Okay, come on.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. There we go. Pete. See, this guy's an answer. What
Yeah,
up? What
Pete.
up?
Pete's always ready.
Oh shit.
He's always ready, man.
Pete, how many paint fumes are you been ingesting today? All right.
We were saying he was ready. He's not ready.
Yeah, Pete, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you now.
All right, good. Good to have you on board. Well, we're just talking about this whole thing within Joshua and Ruiz, and there's a lot of shenanigans going on. Some people don't think the fight's taking place. There's the human rights element. They don't even know which venue. Some people are speculating they're going to construct a new venue. I mean, this whole thing is getting out of hand, man.
It is out of hand. I like when Bucho pulls like a little coup attempt and tries to take control of Mr. BDA once in a while. BDA smacks it down.
Listen,
No, he didn't smack anything down. This guy's he just doesn't want to talk about it. He's like, well,
Be careful, Bucho. Careful, this guy's crazy.
Bucho always stays in the past. That's
one
a
of
problem.
those evangelical Christians.
All right, listen, who cares about that? We're talking about Joshua Ruiz. It's an interesting fight. First of all, let me ask you this, Pete. How are you looking forward to the rematch? I mean, is this a fight that you... Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I think it's the most interesting fight in boxing right now that's even, I say made, but close to being made.
Whoa.
I think so, because of the backstory with, what the hell happened to Joshua in the first one. Now we got Ruiz looking sharp in training camp. We got Eddie Hearn holding a 2-man press conference. Sound like a travel agent up there talking about UK people, how easy it is to get a passport to come to Saudi for the fight. No chance. Not a chance of that. He's got his little investor up there. An 11-minute presser. You got Ruiz's trainer saying, I don't know what you're talking about. They need to... They interviewed him at the last... at the Ortiz fight, I think.
Right.
Saturday, and he was like, I mean... That might be fine for them. They're saying there's a fight, but as far as I'm concerned, we don't know. You haven't heard nothing from Ruiz. Isn't that funny? That's what he said.
Well, that's the thing, though. That's the thing. Like I was asking Buchu, because we want to get some grounding on how much would Luis, what's the biggest payday for Luis out there other than Joshua?
Yeah, that's the truth. But BDA, you gotta. I mean, we talked about this a few shows ago, especially. You remember right after the fight in New York, Hearn was talking like we're going to have this written up within a week. And the next show, we were all talking about it. And I said, I can't believe that PBC, that Heyman's going to be that easygoing about this. Like, I can't believe he's not going to try to hold out or fuck around with the money. I mean, think about every other fight where a PBC, where an outside promotions had to work with Heyman for anything, for a unification, for a title, for a rematch, for anything. It's always a pain in the ass, you know what I'm saying? And they got a date announced now. They're talking about building a stadium. They're holding a press conference. It's like they're going to have to pay out their ass to get this guy back in the ring. Regardless of how the fight turns out, I just think that Heyman's going to get every dime he can out of him,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too, man. I think he wants Ruiz to get paid handsomely for this.
I do too, but I mean, I think it's contracted. I can't recall if they had I know Matchroom could pick the venue, obviously the rematch date, they could elect for a rematch. And I want to see there was some kind of scale in there for like double the fee or something like that for the first fight.
Right.
Yeah, but either way, once they heard 100 million and 50 million for this site fee, forget it, man.
Yeah, but Pete, let's face the facts, man. What does Ruiz bring to the table? Does he bring fans? Are Mexican or Mexican American fans gonna travel to watch him fight in Saudi Arabia?
No, hell no. Look, he brings the 2 belts. He's got 2 belts that Joshua needs to make a fight with Wilder down the road. You understand? So without Joshua getting his belts back, there is no AJ Wilder unification for undisputed. There is no super fight. It makes that fight worthless.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, but this is a business, and if he doesn't bring,
Yes.
we know the Brits are gonna travel. They'll travel anywhere. They could make the fight in Somalia. They'll travel there. But the Ruiz fans, I don't know. Now, yes, he does have 2 belts, so he does have some.
Shit.
He does have some collateral.
Excuse me.
That's okay.
He's listen. It's just like when Charles Martin got a hold of that IBF. I think it was the IBF.
Yeah.
They paid him like £5 million, $7 million US dollars basically to go over there and take a shot from AJ to get that belt to him. And that was the same outfit cutting the deal for that fight. So you don't think that? I mean, you don't think they overpaid Martin in order to get him over there so that belt could get around AJ's waist so that they could make this Wilder AJ fight? This is what it's all about. This Ruiz upset the apple cart when that first fight. Bottom line,
it's true. That's true, and it's not gonna get. They're saying the fight is signed. Doesn't even look like it even. So I think there's still a couple of hurdles to get over here. Butcher, I wanted to ask you, because I asked Pete, are you looking forward to this fight? He said yes. He says it's the most interesting fight for him in boxing. What about you? I mean, we got Kovalev Yard, we got Porter Spence. Is this the biggest, the most alluring fight for you in terms of storylines?
Man, because there's a lot of questions that need to be answered here. Was it a fluke? Is Under Ruiz actually one of the best heavyweights right now? That's those are important, interesting questions that I want to see answers to. But what else do we have? Like you said, we have Sean Porter against Errol Spence Jr. I'm not really like it's a good fight, but it's nothing crazy, man. I mean, we have a favorite in that fight, which is Spence, right? We have that, and that's a pay-per-view. Then you have Wilder Ortiz too. I mean, give me a fucking break, and that's a pay-per-view as well.
Yeah,
another PBC pay-per-view, by the way. And then what else do you have? Kovalev Yard, an interesting fight, but I just don't think Yard's that good. So I'm expecting Kovalev to win that fight, so I'm not that excited. That's pretty much all we have. Oh no, wait, we have Inoue against Nolito Donaire. That's another very interesting fight.
Taylor versus Prograis, if it happens, which again, that's another fight that it came out last week. All right, who's adjusting their microphone? Come on. That's another fight that that is hitting a couple of bumps in terms of negotiations because Prograis just pulled. He says he's pulled out of the WBSS. He says because supposedly they were going to put some money on escrow and the winner would get that purse. And he says that the deadline passed and the money was not put into the account. So he says he's pulling out. The WBSS, I gotta give him credit. They got balls, man. They're like Eddie Hearn. They as soon as Prograis said he's pulling out of the fight. The WBSS, they put an announcement and say, no, fight's going forward, and if he wants to take this further, we'll take it further. So they're not afraid. Because remember, guys, that Baranchik too, prior to the Taylor fight, he wanted to pull out. And as soon as he said, we're pulling out, I'm not going to fight, the WBSS in their Twitter, they put an announcement saying, the fight's signed, it's going to take place here, it's going to take place there. So it's like they're saying, fuck you. Fight's taking place, and they said there's a contract in place, so it's almost the same thing here with Ruiz.
How come Josh Taylor is not complaining?
That's a good point.
I'll tell you why.
Why?
BDA, we covered this. I want to say it was the last show we had where Bucho went out boozing. He went out drinking and left us alone to run all the program. It was awesome. Excuse me. But if you read the story, I could probably find the lawsuit on Pacer on the clerk system, but if you read between the lines what the article was talking about, DeBella's the one speaking on behalf of Prograis in filing this suit. And basically, it's not that they were late with any payments. It's that DeBella proposed that the purse for the fight, number one, the purse for the fight, and in addition to that, the bonus that they receive for winning the tournament, that be placed into an escrow account ahead of the fight. I think the fight's scheduled for October 7. So they're the one that put this out. They sent this demand basically to Schaefer's, to people running the Super Series, and the Super Series basically they weren't obligated to put anything in escrow. They just didn't take their demand letter, and they set a deadline in the letter, and then that's the deadline they say they missed. So that's why Taylor's not complaining, because there's no breach yet on Super Series part.
In other words, this sounds like a fleece. It's like they're trying to fleece more money from the WBSS.
It's like a preemptive. They want to pull out, and it's a preemptive suit that they filed, because the suit really is not suing them for any damages. The suit is basically citing the breach of an escrow agreement that was never agreed to by Super Series. And with the relief that they're seeking is this, that they be excused from any further obligation to the Super Series.
What a pussy move, man. Yeah, what a pussy move. Butcher, you were right, man, about when you said, why isn't Taylor pulling any of these crap? Why is Prograde? See, this is the thing. This Louisiana, there were pirates, weren't there? That back in the day, that was a hub for pirates, Louisiana.
What are you talking?
So he's got those pirate genes over there, man, trying to fleece an honest organization like the BSS, who's only trying to, by the way, trying to put on the best fights for us boxing fans. And this guy's going out there asking for, I'll put money in an escrow, or I'm going to get my shyster lawyer on the case. Shut up.
Oh, here come the shysters. The thing is this, you've seen these guys get their checks in the back room of the, you've seen some of these big fights where they got cameras back there. You've seen them get their checks the night of the fight. I mean, that's how boxing works. This guy wants
Ron Koopy.
The fuck? By the way, we also have Cameron and Johnny Boy on the line.
Yeah, fellas, are you there?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Fantastic. Good to have you guys on board. We're just talking, well, we're deviating a little bit, so we'll talk about that later, about the WBSS, but it is an interesting thing, again, how money gets involved, which, guys, I understand. Listen, these guys are getting punched in the head for a living. They want to get paid the most for it, because nobody's going to take care of them when they retire. But, I mean, come on, let's face the facts. Ruiz, at this point, as far as we know, is not going to be bringing the Mexican and Mexican-American fans all the way to Saudi Arabia. AJ is the A side. Yes, Ruiz has collateral with those belts, but that's not enough for him to demand more than 7 mil. I mean, how much does he want? 10 mil? I mean, what do you guys think about this?
This is what I think, BDA, and I'm going to make the attempt to not curse, okay?
Go ahead.
I think Anthony Joshua was a fugazi. They pulled this random place out of the hat so he can choose, and they can do all the things they want to him, so he doesn't have to worry about nothing. Now, as far as the money goes, yeah, he signed the contract, but he also beat the shit out of him. And now, and in fairness, how much is the fight supposed to make? 50 mil? Give or take?
That's just the site fee, though, that the Saudis are paying. That's just the...
I'm saying, but in general, how much is the fight supposed to make? 50, 60?
I have no idea.
Regardless, let's just say between the two of them, they're getting 60. Give them 15. That's only 25%. I mean, it's not. I don't care what the contract says. The contracts are there to be adjusted, bro. You know. Yes, they are. And it's. And then they pulled this random place out of the hat. So Joshua can keep spiking up with the 22cc needle. Okay, that's what it comes down to. Like I say, this guy's sticking more needles in the side of his chest than the broads I used to slang to. Come on now.
I think he's all natural. I agree, though, Johnny. You're right. Listen, they're obviously going to pay him. They're obviously going to pay him. They're gonna cave. They're going to pay him what he wants, because, listen, he can push it as far as, I guess, getting stripped. You know what I mean? But
or anything like that. But still, throw him a bone, bro. Like I said, nobody gave him a shot in the dark and the flare and whooped his ass. So
you're right. I mean, listen, they announced this rematch a week ago. Then they announced the site, the Saudi Arabia thing, about 4 or 5 days ago. So Ruiz came out and said, his trainer said as much, that, hey, you haven't heard from Ruiz yet. I mean, we need to be paid. And then today they went ahead with this fucking this press conference. So that tells you right then and there that they're not doing a very good job of bluffing, like in terms of holding out for, not paying him. They're going to pay him, obviously. They're holding, even though the presser was 11 minutes long, and it was basically a travel agency infomercial about how to get to the Saudi Arabia. They wouldn't even do this unless we had a fight. They're talking about the first week of the next month of September is the first press conference, the first official press conference in the States, I think. So they're going to pay him. They're obviously going to pay him. If they were going to posture and fight him on this, they would just not hold the press conference, and they'd be putting out all kinds of social media bullshit that Ruiz is pulling out. And you don't hold a presser if you're not going to pay the guy. They're going to pay him.
What's up, Pavel?
What's good, guys?
What up? Welcome to the show. Also, Cameron, if you want to jump in as well, I don't know if you've said anything so far. You guys can jump in.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yep.
Because I've never used this Discord call before, so I didn't know if I had to adjust my microphone or anything. But if you can hear me, that's cool, man.
All right. Well, anybody else want to say anything about this fight? Apparently, it's taking place. For sure. All right. Pavel, you don't want to jump in?
I watched it. I was literally, I got a notification on my phone earlier on saying press conference was going on. I turned it on. It was Eddie Hearn and some bold guy. Actually, it was like Pavel, actually, but a bit more darker skinned. And I kind of gave up after 5 minutes because the fight's not even officially going on yet. And
well, it seems
they
like
got a press conference.
According to them, it is.
But where we are, I've never seen a big fight with a press conference where the fighters haven't turned up, and it's just some old guy and the promoter. So it's all a bit shambles.
Yeah, talking about how great it's gonna be. I mean, that was kind of weird. You can always go to the fight, Cameron. It's only a 5-hour flight. You get a 30-day visa, and yeah.
And you get to correct your future wife. You get to correct your future wife there too. So she doesn't get lippy with you.
The only Muslim words I know is Alas alaikum. So as long as I keep that going, then
you'll be
fine. Other than that, yeah.
You completely butchered the quote. It's
assalamu alaikum, isn't it?
It's assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. You gotta put more throat. Yeah, you gotta put more throat into it. Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah.
Allah Akbar!
I hope you don't hear a lot of that there. So yeah, man, listen. Talking about the actual fight. By the way, guys, call in if you got any opinions on this. Should Anthony Joshua, who is very proud of his African heritage, he claims that his heritage is from the deepest, darkest parts of Africa. He's going to Saudi Arabia,
and he's what would he say about like the superior race?
Oh yeah, he did make those comments about superior race, and now he's going to Saudi Arabia, where they treat locals of African descent like crap. I'm gonna wonder why he's going over there, and he's badmouthing the United States too about how they treat black people over there. So I don't know. It seems to be a bit of cognitive dissonance there. So call in if you want to talk about that. I know it's a hot subject, so that's why I'm trying to egg people on about that. Also, here's another thing. This gentleman.
What's up?
What? Go ahead, Johnny boy. What did you say? Johnny boy.
Anyways, go ahead, BDA.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt you.
All right, listen, this is getting out of hand, man. Johnny boy, we'll let you come in. Yeah, we'll let you say what you want to say later. But real quick, Omar Khalil. So a lot of people are wondering, who's this guy? Managing partner of Skill Challenge Entertainment, all right? So I wrote on Google his name, Omar Khalil Skill Challenge. First of all, I wrote Omar Khalil, just that on Google, and it gave me a bunch of names that had nothing to do with the actual man. So I had to go on Bing, which I'm liking now more and more over Google, and I wrote Omar Khalil Skill Challenge Entertainment. All I find are links to the YouTube videos saying, no, the fight's announced, and also a LinkedIn page for the gentleman, Skill Challenge Entertainment, from LinkedIn. There's no biographical information. They haven't had any other events as far as I know, as far as I can tell. Again, I just researched this for about 10 minutes. They have already the poster there for Ruiz Joshua too. They don't have anything more, guys. It seems like this company just sprung out of nowhere. I mean, that's usually how they do it in Saudi Arabia, right? With all that money, they can set up all these fugazi, as Johnny Boy would say, all these fugazi companies spring out of nowhere. They put up the money, and then all of a sudden, whoops, they disappear.
Yeah, but that's common
look.
here though too, Bucho. I mean,
They're just money. They're just money laundering the casinos and the coke money. That's all they got. And now here, let me just tell you one more thing about this Joshua Ruiz rematch. All you little Anthony Joshua trolls that like to come on my channel and are just waiting for me to talk about the guy. Pavel, I missed you this morning. How you doing, buddy? But all you little Anthony Joshua trolls, let me tell you something real quick. God damn it. I got a phone ringing over here. But anyways, here.
Man, Johnny Boy's all over the place, man.
No. Hang on. I'll fucking call him back.
Now we're gonna mute you, man. Sorry.
Anthony Joshua fans.
Oh yeah, to the Anthony Joshua fans. You dudes need to stop acting like this contract is the word of God or something. You dudes are acting like this stupid ass contract. Moses went up and talked to the burning bush behind the hill to receive over here. You understand? Come on now. There ain't no reason they can't whack up another fucking contract that'll take them 30 seconds to type out, and throw them a bone, as my old man would say. Give me a little something for the F over here. The fuck you talking about? Like the fucking contract's the word of God.
You know, the burning bush, that's where Recognize got crabs when he was 19 or younger. I forget how old he was when he said that.
Me too. I just made out with a chick from work. I got a bump on my lip. I hope I don't get mono.
Johnny Boy, don't shit where you eat, man. That's not a good idea there.
Especially where I eat.
Shake your pubes, you won't get crabs. End of story, man.
Yeah, that's an old wives' tale. But all right, so this guy, Pete, you were gonna say something about how this type of companies and this type of things are common in the U.S. too. Pete, you muted. I can't hear you.
Sorry about that. Yeah, like so. Anytime, at least in the States, and I'm sure this has got to play in Canada too. Anytime a group of investors get together and they want, like me and Bucho and BDA Johnny we want to buy a key of Coke. Let's just say, this is crazy, but yeah. So we might create an entity, a business entity, a legal entity called LRB's Nostrils LLC or something like that, just so that that entity is the one that's liable, and we all invest in this new company, and then this company does business for this one transaction, and then, yeah, they usually are shut down after. But that's pretty common. I don't see anything. I didn't expect you to see anything on the history. That company was probably just started, a year ago.
Well, all I'm saying is it adds to the confusion and to the it doesn't make me have more confidence, let's just say, in what's going on here. Hopefully the fight does take place. And like I was asking other people here on the panel, guys, who else is looking forward to this fight? I mean, is this an actual fight that we're all excited to see?
Me personally, like, I don't know, man. Like, I actually think the fight should be exactly where the first fight was, because if he wants to get paid a little bit more, I'll agree with John. If he wants to get paid a little bit more, then give him a bit more, because there's a rematch clause in the contract. But if he wants to see a ball, make it. If it's going to make the fight happen, obviously Ruiz is holding up for something right now. But it's not a fight I'm really looking forward to. I know it's kind of, but then again, I've not really felt like all year about the first fight. I didn't feel like that. I wasn't excited about the first fight. Obviously, no one was, because everyone thought Josh was going to blow him away. But even the rematch, man, I'm not really excited about it. But maybe when it comes around, I'll definitely watch it. But it's not. I don't think it's a mega fight. I just don't. But I guess we'll see.
Johnny Boy, how about you, man?
Aren't you looking forward to it? I mean, you don't give a shit about that, Mr. BDA.
Well, I thought you were asking Cameron.
Yeah. No, I'm asking you, BDA. Aren't you looking forward to it? You don't give a shit about this?
Well, here's what happens with me, Pete.
Oh,
When a fight happens or is signed, I go, all right, it's gonna happen. Then I don't care about it because I'm focusing on what's going on right now. Then as the fight starts getting close, then I start getting my jimmies rustled and I start going, ooh, the fight week. But yeah, right now, I mean, I'm more excited for the actual like WBSS finals. You know, Inoue Donaire or Baranchik, no, not Baranchik, Josh Taylor versus what's his name, Prograis, or even Porter Spence. I think it's a bigger implications there. But definitely, look, that's the other thing though. The first Joshua Ruiz fight, it was kind of boring.
was it?
I mean, other than the knockdowns and the eventual knockout, in between there was a lot of just pity patting, parrying, or grab ass, like Johnny likes to say. It wasn't really that entertaining.
Similar to Joshua Parker in some areas of that fight, man.
Yes.
Until Ruiz started taking Joshua, until Ruiz started putting Joshua down, I was getting bored of it. But the fact that Ruiz won the fight, some of the fight was, in my opinion.
I mean,
People
it
are saying
definitely
that
made
you're
this
actually
more
nervous
interesting.
for Joshua. Is that true, Cameron? You're actually nervous, but you're playing it. You're playing it down.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it.
Dude, UK fans are hard on Josh. UK fans are pretty harsh on Joshua. You know what I'm saying? But for the loss, for the way he handled it, for shaking the guy's hand afterwards.
I know.
I thought they'd be like all about
the first message I got from Stu right after the knockdown was Joshua's so bum.
Yeah, Stu's disgusted. Stu is flat out disgusted with Joshua. You slap him in the face if he has no time.
Well, it reminds me of the tennis, man. Like, when Andy Murray doesn't win Wimbledon, people say he's Scottish. When he wins, the England people say he's British. The same with Joshua. You know he's got beat. He's not one of us. That's how some of the fans are making it out.
You know what he is? He's a steroid boy with no chin.
That's right. But the other thing is, Cameron just brought up tennis. That sport, the only way that sport could get any gayer is if the male tennis players had to wear skirts like the women. Other than that, it's already gay enough. Fuck tennis, man. I hate that sport.
It's right up. It's right up there with soccer as far as queer sports go.
Yeah, it's getting pretty.
And cricket. That's this one sport I can't bear to watch.
Or golf.
Only boxing.
Can't stand
golf. See, golf. I'll tell you something real quick. Golf. It's fun to go out with your buddies and have a few beers, get some fresh air, and throw some clubs around the woods like me, Happy Gilmore. But watching on TV, I'd rather watch, as the great George Carlin would say, rest in peace. I'd rather watch two flies fuck than watch golf.
Fucking quiz!
Amen.
That's the thing, though. I thought you were going to say that, I like golf. Just because a bunch of fucking Goombas play golf, you were going to like it too. But no, okay, I'm glad you said that it's a boring sport to watch.
But going back to the fight, I'm excited for the rematch.
Are you now?
Now, I've always been excited for the rematch.
Okay,
why is that?
Yeah, break it down. Why?
Well, reason, and it's a pretty personal one. My balls are getting tight when I think about my superior race brother. It's just I just want to watch him fight his tight muscular body.
That's like he's like the Wild. You sound like those Wilder fans. He's a strong black man.
That's what Brendan Schaub said.
Independent black man.
Yeah, Brendan Schaub as well.
That's what Brendan Schaub says about Arnold in his prime and John Jones, and he's like, "Oh my God!" After he just got done choking on 33 blunts with Rogan, then his queer side comes out, and he goes, Do you remember Arnold back in the day, bro? His bod was so tight, man. He was like chiseled out of marble, dude.
Yeah, that's a pretty good Brendan. That's a pretty good Brendan Schaub impression, by the way. You get the inflection at the end when he goes, "Dude," do it again. Like, say something else that Brendan Schaub would say.
Oh well, yeah. He all he is a big fat fucking Spicoli. But anyways,
he reported me when I was on Twitter. He actually blocked me because every time he wrote a tweet about boxing, not knowing what the fuck he was on about, I'll just post a video of him getting knocked out by Travis Brown. So every fucking tweet. You know,
Who didn't block you on Twitter, Cameron?
Clarissa Shields did, but she's a racist motherfucker. Who else was there?
Michelle Joy Phelps.
Everyone blocked. Yeah, Michelle Joy Phelps. Everybody blocked me. Anthony Joshua as well.
By the way, did you guys hear what Al Heyman? Because Al Heyman was supposedly, they were saying that he was gonna sign Clarissa Shields. Did you hear what he said about her?
What?
When they asked her, like, "Hey, what do you think about Clarissa
No.
Shields?" Well, this is what he said.
Another fat black pig.
Oh, now see that that was very quite out of line, if you ask me. I don't think he should be talking about women like that. We certainly don't talk about women that way here at the BDA Boxing Podcast. We respect women.
Guys,
Yes.
I mean, it's getting hot here, and you're talking about Clarissa. Come on.
All right.
Yeah,
so
I can feel the I can feel the juices rushing to my balls as we speak, talking about Clarissa.
I mean, Pavel, if your ball's getting tied with Clarissa Shields, you really need to assess what sort of sex you're into.
Dude, I've got a full heart on.
all right, but listen, let's stop. No, hold on a sec.
Wait,
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say there's this really cute-looking broad at work, but she's got a Tevin Farmer eyeball. I'm wondering if I should fuck her. And now here's the thing. Here's the thing. I wonder if when I make her nut, if she can just look straight for like 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like if her eyes will straighten out just for like a half a second.
Maybe you'll help her out.
Yeah.
As we say in Poland, one eye on Morocco and one eye on Caucasus Mountains.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing. If you can correct her eyes, then everybody else will want to fuck you. The crippled, the blind, everybody. All right, so I wanted to bring something up here regarding the actual fight between Joshua and Ruiz. They're talking about, everybody's talking about, well, Joshua's too heavy, too muscle bound. Well, there's this picture from the Irish Sun. But I just read the word Irish. I already didn't want to read this rag, but I had to go on for the sakes of the show. But here you see Joshua. Supposedly, he's very lean, and the headline reads, "Fans shocked by Anthony Joshua's new look and say heavyweight ace is now a boxer instead of a bodybuilder." So supposedly, I don't really see the difference here. All I see is what's that?
You're gonna put it up?
You also remember, this is what I said to a friend of mine the other day who showed me it. He sat down in one and stood up in the other. Like, it's hard to tell. Like, put him up side to side, and then you'll see the difference. But I don't see that much difference. He's still muscular. Like, people are blowing out. Like, people saying, "Oh, he looks like he's lost 15 kilograms of muscle." I don't see that at all.
Exactly. I think it's
hold
hold on.
where he sat down. He's got his arms out.
I'm gonna put the picture for you guys here because I don't think you guys on the Discord can see it. Just the people on YouTube. So I'm putting the picture up there.
I've seen on the YouTube. I've got it on the YouTube up now.
Okay, well there you have it. There.
I mean, he's obviously going to lose some muscle for this. He's going to lose some muscle for this fight because it's partly why in the first fight early on. So, but difference in that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see the difference there.
The arms.
The arms.
Like the biceps?
Get boxing style on here to this.
Yeah, we need boxing.
bring boxing style in here. He's the ace when it comes to the. Oh, by the way,
like Wild 209 Wild,
The boxing style will look at his package and then judge whether he's.
You know what?
But I mean,
all I'm saying is this. I mean, look, the guy is jacked. I mean, there's no doubt. He looks like a defensive end in the NFL. But you must say that, and I hate to keep harping on, it's not like the guy walks in there and decides what he's going to do for a workout. I mean, he's got a strength and conditioning coach that sets out a plan for him and a nutrition plan and a weightlifting plan. I mean, in other words, he didn't get here he started out lean in the first place. He put on a bunch of muscle. If he needs to take it off, that's fine. I mean, like BDA, like you're looking at after that Kawaki fight we came on, right? We had that late night when your boy Jesus called in.
That's right.
That got pissed off because you're anti-Mexican. And but you remember how that show started? It was that Kawaki's fat. He's out of shape, too fat. You know what I'm saying? Fat. And then he needs to put on more muscle, less fat. Then Joshua's not enough. You want this guy to look fatter. Ruiz is the hometown hero now because he looks like everyday guy and he's got a little chubby, he's got a little gut on him and everything else. But these guys I don't know what difference it's going to make. I agree he needs to get a little more fluid, you know what I mean? But I don't think there's any amount of weight he's going to lose that's going to make him as smooth of a puncher as Ruiz is. I just don't think it's going to happen. He's just more robotic. That's the way.
And also, losing muscle is not going to help his ring IQ and boxing ability. It's not going to help him with that. It's just going to improve potentially his condition. So, and he was making a lot of mistakes defensively in that Ruiz fight, and that's not going to get any better by the fact if he's going to lose some muscle. You know, he's got to work on several things in the camp for this fight because it's not all down to the fact he was too heavy in that fight.
Well, we were talking about that, Butch and myself, about how Josh is actually pretty quick for a guy his size. So if he can lose some muscle mass, it might help his hand speed, which could make a difference in the fight itself. The problem, though, is also what's that?
He needs to, because if you go back and watch some of his first fights when he first turned professional, he was a lot faster than he is now. A lot more faster. But he was lighter as well. I mean, if he sheds something, the problem is once you put on quite a bit of muscle and lose it, it can actually harm you. So you have to wait and see. But he was faster when he first turned pro. But he's put on so much muscle over that time that he's still fast, a lot faster than a lot of heavyweights, especially his size. But
yeah.
Though he's always let shorter fighters get inside on him. That's the bottom line. Povetkin got inside on him. Khan got inside on him. Obviously, Ruiz got way inside on him. He doesn't hold his range. He doesn't keep. He doesn't use his range at all. He doesn't use his height. Doesn't use his reach at all. So fast or slow, big or small, that's what he needs to. If you had to pick something to work on, it would be that. No, I mean just.
I honestly think AJ will win in a rematch because I'm just looking at this picture you've uploaded, Chad, and I'm just looking at, he's looking pretty good. Tight, thick, solid.
You gotta stop it, Pablo, man. You're creeping
Listen, I have no doubts that he's gonna, but beating on Ruiz pretty big one.
Is this because he has superior genetics?
Let me just read some comments here. Aaron Rosa says, I think Joshua will lose that rematch unless he can take it 12 rounds with a rigged decision. Cachinello, he says that if he's losing muscle, it means he's going to want to stick out the joint and pot shot. Virtuoso says he's going to be leaner but weaker.
Well, it depends, right? I mean, if he's turning vegan and he's not getting the proper nutrition, then I could see him getting weaker, but
he's not cutting weight. Let's be clear. He's not cutting weight like going down a weight class now. This is not like a dehydration type of weight cut. This is just this is probably if there's any difference in those two pictures, I didn't see much. If there's any difference, then it's just probably his intake, I mean his nutrition. It's not like the guy's gonna
it's so hard to tell from the angle as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, even if he does come in, what do he weigh against Ruiz? Anybody know? 60, 50? What do he weigh?
His career heaviest, no?
What was it?
I can't remember what it was. It was heavy, man.
60?
You want it? Yeah, 260, something like that.
If he comes in 20 pounds lighter, if he comes in 15 lighter at 245, let's just say, you're barely going to be able to see it.
247.
He was 247 against Ruiz?
Yeah, I thought he was, 247.8.
He needs to lose some of that, man.
All right, but at that kind of weight, I'm just telling you, if he comes in 15 pounds lighter, you're not even going to be able to see it. I mean, that's when you're talking about. I've been those weights my entire life since I've 8th grade, and 10, 15 pounds, it really doesn't do anything up. You don't even notice it yourself. You don't notice it on a person. I don't think that was his problem in the first fight. I don't think he needs to go.
Go put that back on the charger.
Okay, that's Joe. Oh my goodness!
Oh, did y'all hear that?
Yes, we heard that.
Those Joshua fans, I'm telling you.
We heard, we heard Johnny Boy. We heard you. We also heard somebody say, "Put that dick back in your mouth." So I don't know what's going on in there, man. But you gotta mute your mic. You don't want us to hear that type of stuff, all right? The silence says it all. All right. Also, this show is getting very weird. While with Pavel talking about how he wants Joshua, we want to see how ripped, tight, and compact Joshua can get.
Racist.
Racist? Wait, what? All right. The other thing is this,
Yeah,
guys.
because listen, why do you question my sympathy towards a representative of Nigerian minority? So I mean, look, I don't want to play this game, but it's your choice.
All right, no, we're not gonna play. We're not gonna play. But here's an interesting thing regarding the actual fights, because some people say, "Hey, listen, Joshua actually not that good a boxer if you take away his size." Let me just play you this real quick quote from Anthony Joshua. Andy Ruiz talking. Ah, shit. Hold on. This is Andy Ruiz
Does
talking.
sound like Johnny Boy.
This is Andy Ruiz, who is a boring person, by the way. When he's got no Johnny Boy. Okay, he might sound like Johnny Boy vocally, but Johnny Boy is actually entertaining. Whereas Andy Ruiz, all he does is, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna win the fight, because I'm well prepared. Shut up, stop saying So here's what he's got to say.
Want to eat Snickers after?
He's got that little laugh like Cartman too. Saw him on Joe Rogan thing.
I actually think Gonzalo sounds similar to Andy Ruiz.
It's true. He sounds more like Gonzalo, actually.
Well, let's see. This is what Ruiz had to say about Anthony Joshua's boxing skills.
You know what? I think Eddie Hearns or his people were trying to get something why he lost like that, but he fought a hungry guy,
That's for sure. He was hungry.
I was hungry. I was mentally focused for that
Me too.
fight. I did not want to lose in front of my family or get beat up in front of my family. And for the rematch, it's going to be the same, man. I'm going to be more prepared, more ready. I know his flaws. I could do a lot better. I think the only thing that he could do is just run around, and he's not good at boxing, not a good boxer, but.
All right, so he said that, and people have said that before on this podcast too, about how Joshua's really not that great a boxer. I mean, if you think about it, look at his fight against Joseph Parker. He didn't really do much in that fight, other than the fact that he was the longer guy and was able to get out of the way of Parker, who's not a great pressure fighter. When he was fighting Povetkin, the first 3 rounds or 4 rounds, Povetkin was schooling him. It wasn't until he got tired of lunging in that Joshua was able to take over with his jabs. Guys, the question is, can he outbox? Even if he decides to go on the survival mode and do the bare minimum to win the fight, can he even win that way?
Yes. Yes, he can. If he goes 12 rounds, the judges are going to be on AJ's side. And I don't think he's such a bad boxer. I mean, AJ was catching Ruiz coming in several times. So it's not out of the question. The thing is, in my opinion, that the first knockdown really hurt AJ. And since then, man, he just never recovered, in my opinion. If that take away that first knockdown, maybe the fight does go all 12 rounds.
Right.
So,
what do you think happened in the first fight, BDA?
Yeah, BDA, go ahead, man.
The first fight is
curious. Like,
it's like Bucho said, man. It's like Bucho said. He did look a little bit tight in the going into the ring, but let's face it, the main thing was he got caught and he just never shook off the effects. And then you add in the fact that he's got shit stamina, because against Klitschko he got tired too.
The stamina, yeah.
Yeah, against Klitschko he got tired too after the knockdown and everything, but he was able to recover and at least get away from Klitschko's oncoming offense, and then he got his second win, and that's when he took Klitschko out. Against Ruiz, he never got there. He was exhausted. Watch the round prior to the actual end of the fight. I think it's the 6th round, right? 6th round or 7th round. He was just walking around with his hands down, and he was allowing Ruiz to punch him in the face. And even there was a guy in the crowd who put his hands up, like, what the fuck's he doing? He was just exhausted. So I think that's what happened. He never recovered from the punch, the knockdown, and he had shit stamina.
It looked like Oliver McCall in that Holyfield fight where he just put his hands down by his waist and just knock me out, punch me. Remember when
Lennox?
Oh, Lennox, that's right. Yeah, Lennox. Lennox was confused, didn't even want to punch him. Like he did. That's what it reminded me of. But the round before that, AJ had some success. Listen, it's the same story with any time he either hasn't had the control over his range or he chooses to get inside too early. But if he lets Ruiz get inside on him again, then he's going to throw the same hooks that you just saw in that training video that you just played earlier. He's going to throw those same fucking hooks just as fast, and they're going to land, and he's going to knock him out again if he lets Ruiz get inside. That's the mistake. I mean,
hey, BDA, Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's all. Just think it.
I have one theory.
Okay.
Which may be a bit of a stretch. But yeah, well, it's not mine, but YouTube video. Essentially, it was an interview with Steve Willis, and he was like talking about the fight and what does he think happened, and he said that well, and I kind of quote on him. Well, I know that AJ was kind of battered around in the ring before. I mean, in the sparring sessions, which he had a lot. And the fight, the Joshua Ruiz fight was just the barrage of punches that he took initially. That was just a turning moment, a crescendo that, all that brain damage accumulated. I don't know.
That's a good. Well, that was one of the
Well,
theories
here's
going
another
in.
theory from Corruption in Boxing. He says, just my theory, but AJ's physique and bulk accumulation is a mental conditioner. Muscle gives AJ confidence on intimidating opponents and helps him believe he can take a punch.
Well, muscles give everybody confidence. Obviously, you're not a confident guy if you're walking around like fucking the Jabba the Hutt, bro.
Yeah, like those. Yeah.
By the way, why did Johnny Boy?
Man.
That's a good point. But why did Johnny Boy sound like Jesse Ventura right now? Did you hear that? Did anybody else hear that? Was it just me? He's like, well,
I think
obviously
I heard a
the
little bit
most.
of Jesse Ventura there.
Talk again, Johnny Boy.
This shit'll make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus, just like me.
Yeah, he sounds a little bit like Jesse Ventura. But it's a good point from Corruption in Boxing is maybe though those because again he's he didn't. If you look at AJ, he didn't really have that big an amateur career. In fact, Andy Ruiz, even though he didn't go to the Olympics or anything, he didn't go to the Olympics, right? Andy Ruiz?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. But he had more amateur fights, and he seems to be more of a fluid fighter. Maybe again, despite being a fatso, he still doesn't have the overbound musculature that Joshua has. So it seems like Joshua is a bit of a manufactured boxer in the sense that he started late. He got a lot of backing from because again, you gotta keep in mind, guys, when a physical specimen like Joshua shows up at the gym, all the trainers subconsciously already go, oh, this guy's gonna be a good athlete. This guy's gonna be a good athlete. He's gonna be a great boxer. But if the mental aspect's not there, there's only so far you can take that fighter. So that's why I'm asking you guys why if you think that Joshua can beat Ruiz, because does he have the minerals required to overcome this type of obstacle and really take Ruiz out? Is he a good boxer? Does he have boxing in his veins? That's what we want to find out in the rematch. And
that's why I'm interested in the fight, BDA. That's the big question mark is how is he going to come? How is he physically in the next fight, in the rematch? How is he going to handle himself coming off of what happened? If you think it was personally, I think it's a young guy that lost track of what he was doing. He took his eye prize. He wasn't paying attention. He got some success early, had a knockdown, and then he got too carried away with himself. Fucking lost all control of his range and tried to go in there when Ruiz wasn't that hurt. Ruiz clipped him, made him pay. He never recovered from the first knockdown. I can't speak to what happened in his training camp if he got knocked out a week before the fight. No one knows. I mean, we're never going to get that information. All I know is this: he's handled it as good as he could have handled it in the ring, right? Post-fight, I don't want to see him act like Broner and scream about how it was stopped too early and he got robbed and all this bullshit. No one wants to see that knock stuff, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day he released a video saying, hey, I took a loss. That's it. I took a loss. That's it. I'll come back stronger than last time and I'll get my belts back. He seemed like he was in good spirits, so I think he's being true to himself. I've never seen him be the villain, and never seen him be but if it was that he just they got a late last minute replacement. This guy wasn't supposed to do shit. Ruiz came in basically to lose, and he lost track of that. He got distracted. Maybe he was looking at the Tecate girl. I don't know. I look. But the thing is, he got clipped in a heavyweight fight, and he couldn't recover from it. So maybe it'll destroy him forever mentally, and he'll lose the rematch, and he'll lose every other fight after that. Or maybe it's like a Lennox Lewis Rockman situation. Maybe it is. I'm interested to find out.
Yeah, I mean, you've brought up a good point. I mean, whenever I've seen some pictures of Joshua post a fight camp or post fight, it's always like and yeah, like it's good to rest in a good environment, but he always, big luxurious places and chills his ass off. Maybe he's just chilling for too long, I guess.
It's possible. We don't know, man. I mean, there was a lot wrong going into the Ruiz fight. Like Pete said, that the fight got well. I mean, they had to find a little replacement. Joshua, like you said, Pavel, he's taking all these Instagram pictures of him being in luxurious places and just resting and lounging around, and then he's putting on too much muscle. It seems like his career he might not have been focused on his career 100%. So that's why, yes, looking at it from that standpoint, it's interesting to see what happens from here on in and what happens with the winner of the fight. Because now maybe if Joshua wins, for example, maybe he finally realizes, oh, crikey, I can get knocked out at any point. This puts my future earning opportunities in jeopardy. Let's make the Wilder fight right now before any more tomfoolery occurs. And if Ruiz wins, well, he's with the PBC. Wallace with the PBC. They make that fight happen. So I think in the end, boxing fans, we all end up winning. It's my opinion on that.
Yeah, we will get our answer foremost. And for one question, I mean, is Joshua the guy who we really thought he is? I mean, there are so many variables to why this fight happened that way. But yeah, we'll get the final answer, especially against a short, fat opponent like Ruiz.
Mm-hmm.
Well, can't take nothing away from Ruiz. He won that fight. He did what he had to do. So I'm not taking. I don't want to make it like I'm shitting on the guy. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, I
think
get
in the
you. Me
rematch,
neither.
If
Go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna ask you if AJ wins by knockout. Let's say, are we gonna give AJ credit, or we're gonna dismiss that win and be saying, well, he should never have lost to Ruiz anyways.
it's over. It's past. You got to move past. You get beat sometimes. I mean, in business or in a football field, you get fucking. You get cocky and you lose track of things. You're not watching out, and someone they call it ear holes. They fucking what your cleats are up where your head used to be, and you're looking at the sky. It fucking knocks shit out of you. Not to be crude, but it just teaches you a lesson. You could take it as a lesson, or you could basically get off the field and never come back on it again because you're scared to get hit again like that. So, he seems to be handling it. He keeps keeping a positive attitude. I'm interested in the rematch. I don't like the shenanigans going on with I want to see the fight signed. I'm like Johnny. Johnny likes to see that. He likes to see the ink on the paper with these fights.
Yeah.
Because he's big on that, and I agree with him on this one especially. But the fight being announced in Saudi Arabia, listen, building a brand new venue from now until December 7th, I don't care how many slaves you got working for you. That's a tall order. Okay. Now, that kind of hokey shit I don't quite agree with, but I do understand why they're doing it. I don't think it should be in the UK. That's a bad look. It's a bad look if let's say he brings Ruiz over to the UK and does what I think he's going to do, which is win the fight. That's a bad look to do it in the UK because there's all kind of question mark. If he doesn't want to come to the States to do it, I don't think going into Azteca Arena in Mexico is realistic either. But look, if he comes to the States from a financial standpoint, right, the Zone broadcasts that on a subscription package. Either you have the Zone or you don't. Okay, it's not a pay-per-view over here. So the problem what Stu brought to my attention a long time ago was that these UK fans, McGregor, Stu, Cameron, these guys got to keep some really funky hours in order to watch these fights sometimes that take place in Vegas. It's a funky ass schedule that they got to. So that's got to affect pay-per-view buys in the UK. So, listen, the country aside, I understand doing it in that part of the world over there because it gives a 10 o'clock show for the UK fans. That's a pay-per-view event for them. It's not going to make a difference for the US. They're not selling pay-per-views over here. It's on the Zone, which, by the way, I think that since it is taking place over there, DAZN pays Anthony Joshua. Remember, they had a special arrangement, so it was all of his U.S. based fights that was free on DAZN. So, I guess what I'm saying is DAZN's going to pay him a reduced broadcast fee to put that on DAZN. But like I said, if someone's bringing $50 million to the table for a site fee, and it's legit, then how can you turn it down? Really? Think of
You know, like I say, it's not like they can't print up another contract and throw him $3 more million, bro. Like I said, they're acting like God gave this to Cain after he got done stabbing Abel up from the fucking Garden of Eden over here. This goddamn contract argument that these old AJ fangirls want to bring up. And like I said, at this point, I already didn't like Wilder before because he's, you know, the son of a preacher man, and he's talking about killing people. And now I'm sick of the AJ fanboys too. I hope Usyk goes up there and beats the fuck out of both of them. I hope Fury beats the fuck out of Wilder if they have a rematch. And I hope Andy Ruiz beats the fuck out of Joshua if they have a rematch.
But first of all, Johnny, you need to... Well, yeah, but Johnny, you need to brush up on your Bible history, man, because you got all that wrong. Cain and Abel in the Garden of Eden. What the hell's the matter with you, man?
No, I was exaggerating, BDA.
All right, but the other thing is this.
BDA is getting now all angry.
No, I'm not going to get angry. The Lord says, do not get angry in the vanity of others. But the point is this. I wanted to ask you, who was... That's not an actual quote, by the way. I made that up. Johnny, but who was the... the one... Johnny, who were the other fans that were pissing you off recently on your channel?
All of them.
No, the Canelo fans. The Canelo fans.
Oh yeah, those cocksuckers. Yeah, the all three of them can get fucked. But who just said? Somebody said I don't like black fighters in the chat. You know, I don't, bro. I'm a big Crawford fan. I'm always sticking up for Crawford. What are you talking about? I'm a big Porter guy. I'm a big Danny Jacobs guy. Shut your face. Anyways, no, it's just I don't like neither one of them. I don't like AJ. I don't like Wilder. You know, going beforehand, I was more on Joshua's side because he had fought Klitschko, he had fought Dillian White, he had fought Povetkin, he had fought all these guys. But now they're making 1,000 excuses, just like when Mike Tyson got his ass kicked by Buster Douglas. It was, he was banging hookers over in Tokyo. He wasn't training seriously enough. He did this and he did that. Well, that ain't Buster Douglas's fucking problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's never 50, and they bring this shit up. It's gonna say they're gonna be saying the same shit. It's fucking, this happened, that happened. No, he got his ass kicked by a 33-1 underdog. Give the guy his props. Nobody gave him a fucking shot in hell. That's all it is.
Yep.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So give him an extra $3 million.
Yeah, throw him. What I say? Just throw him a little bone. That's all you got to do. Give him. All you got to do is tax the vig a little bit more. Squeeze the juice out of the loan a little bit more.
You know what they can do?
They're going to pay him his money. They're going to pay him. They wouldn't be going forward with a press conference, rinky dink as it was, unless they're tipping their hand right then and there. They're not postponing press conferences and canceling it until we can get a deal. They're holding the press conference and allegedly building a stadium. They're going forward. They're gonna. So I think, though, Johnny, I hear what you're saying. Certainly, even if it was contracted ahead of time, or if there was some kind of rule of thumb, double the original purse, right? When you start hearing $150 million site fees being offered publicly, they're flat out saying it. They're publicizing this huge site fee. Well, you can't be shocked when Ruiz wants more of a piece of that site fee than, that changes things from it being in I think Mayweather McGregor was like a $10 million site fee for MGM Grand. $10 million that they paid to have a major fight, which is high. It got to be on the high side. So if someone's talking 50 and 100 million, then look, you can't be shocked when Ruiz wants more money.
Yeah.
They're gonna pay him his money, or else they wouldn't be having press conferences. They wouldn't be going forward with the promotion. They'll pay him.
ATTV in the chat saying the problem is AJ himself has made zero excuses, Johnny.
Yeah. Well, here, tell ATTV this. Like I said, I didn't say AJ said it. I said his fanboy said it, first of all. I don't give a fuck whether he's saying it, Eddie Hearn's saying it, your mother's saying it, or anybody else is saying it. There ain't no fucking excuse. He got his ass kicked by a guy who's 6 inches shorter than him.
Well, you know what though? To be fair here, I was watching a video earlier in preparation for this podcast, and this is the video. Anthony Joshua finally reveals why I lost to Andy Ruiz, and he does say I was looking past him. So that's an excuse right there. He's not saying the best man beat me on that night. Now he's saying no, I wasn't prepared. I was looking past him.
It started to sound like Duran Leonard too. There, where like Duran came with like a million excuses, and you don't know which one was the real one.
And this is the
See,
thing
that's
about,
different. That's different.
But here's the thing,
I've heard
boxers, it's expected that at this level, these guys make excuses because think about it. Let's say you're a boxer, right? And you think you're the best. You're in the top 10 or you're the number 1 heavyweight in the world ranked that way. And all of a sudden you lose. Are you going to say, oh yeah, he beat me, and you're going to say this guy's better than me? Or are you going to make excuses, say, well, listen, I was sick. I just got in a fight with my girlfriend. I wasn't there mentally. That's good for their psyche because it lets them know that they didn't actually lose, like they can become better. So they need to give themselves those excuses. Every fighter does that, and Anthony Joshua is no different.
But BDA. This is the interview that came out, like a 10-minute interview with Max Boxing last night, or in the last 24 or 48 hours.
Yes, I believe it's. Yeah, it's from Max Boxing.
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing, but look, since the fight happened, fair to say that all of us, right, were overlooking Ruiz. Well, no, I shouldn't say all of us actually. No, because Gonzalo knew more about him than everybody else. But here's my point: we were all a little bit shocked. Vegas was shocked. The odds makers were shocked. I think the public was shocked by the way that fight went. Right after the fight. Since the fight happened, people are talking about what happened. Is he mentally weak? Did he get KO'd in sparring? I heard he got KO'd in sparring. He got drugged. He came out looking lethargic, like he was on drugs. At some point in time, right, I don't blame the guy for flat out, if he's not taking anything away from Ruiz and he's giving you, and he's saying, look, he beat me straight up. He beat me. I got fucking knocked out. I got stopped. I didn't protest in the ring. I'm not protesting now. I'm not pulling an Adrian Broner where I'm delusional. But if I had to pin it on anything,
I just made a video like last week about Prince Nassim and how he was a fucking hype job too. Now here, I'm gonna look. They did the same thing when Prince, just like I was talking about with Tyson and Buster Douglas. They did the same shit with Prince when he got his ass kicked by Barrera. Then that stupid documentary full of excuses comes out called Little Prince Big Fight or whatever the hell it was called. Well, he put on a bunch of weight. Well, his heart wasn't in boxing anymore. Well, this and well that. No, he got his face shoved into the ring post and got his ass kicked. Get out of here.
All right. Well,
but Johnny, do you hear AJ saying anything like trying to undercut Ruiz's win since the fight? I haven't heard anything. I don't follow it as closely as you guys either, though. I'm saying, do you catch that from AJ, Johnny? I don't catch that.
No, I didn't hear nothing from him, Pete, but he shouldn't be saying nothing.
You're breaking up.
No, he's a Mexican fucking James Braddock, bro. Like, what? Fuck out of here with this shit.
Listen.
Listen, bro. I hope Andy Ruiz goes in there and beats the fuck out of him for 12 rounds and ices him fucking cold in the 12th.
Listen. Anthony Joshua did say on that interview, Max Boxing interview, he was looking past Ruiz. Then you got his father saying he got knocked out in sparring.
Mm-hmm. I don't care about his father or anybody. I don't care about all these. I don't care about super fans.
Promoter.
I agree with Johnny.
But he himself said he was looking past the fight and focusing on Wilder.
That I'll take from AJ and I'll.
Hey, but after the fight. Right after the fight, he said there were no excuses. Remember,
it's still no excuses. That's not an listen. He's the difference between making an excuse and saying, "Look, if you're asking me what happened on my end, this is what I think I did wrong. I didn't keep my eye on the prize. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't keep my head in the fucking game, and I got clipped. There's a difference between that and, oh, I was sick, I had a cold, there was a long flight, my training camp sucked, and all this. Like, and I don't care if his dad's saying it, I don't care if his super fans are saying it. I got to listen to the fighter, and I got to make a determination on how he comes off to me when he's saying it. Like, you see AB after that Pacquiao fight, it was laughable, right? No one could take that guy serious. Fucking ridiculous, this guy. He's delusional. So I got no problem with AJ saying, look, if you wanted me to tell you what I think went wrong for me, it was this. It was a mental breakdown, you know, and not a psychotic thing. Just he's a young guy and he got carried away and he lost concentration. He paid. He didn't have to take away anything from Ruiz to say that. I'll accept that from him, but we'll see what happens in the rematch. I'm interested.
Well, it sounds to me like he's saying, "Hey, listen, Ruiz, even on his best day, can't take me out on my best day because hey, I wasn't 100% focused for him this time." That's what it sounds like to me. Now, like you said, at the end of the day, we're gonna see what happens in this rematch. We're gonna see what AJ is made of, and we're gonna see what Ruiz is made of. Is he really as good as people are making him up to be now?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
But you're right, BDA. You're right in that he can't just say, look, he kicked my ass, then he'll kick my ass anytime, he'll kick my ass in the rematch. Yeah, you're right. They have to stay positive in terms of, I will do this in the rematch, I will come back, I will avenge the loss. Yeah, you're right. They can't just sit there and bellyache to you about what happened. I mean,
exactly. You know, the only guy that comes to mind.
Hey, Johnny boy, what happened? We're over in the desert, random as hell. So Anthony Joshua can keep sticking 22-inch or 29 cc's in his arms and have it manipulated and take you some random ass place nobody's ever heard of. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Johnny Boy, ATTV is saying, what are you talking about, Johnny Boy? Nassim and Tyson didn't get the rematches.
And I responded to him. I said, no, Tyson went to the can and Buster lost the title to Holyfield. The Prince fought a bum and retired. The fuck he thought.
Hey, Johnny Boy, do you know this at TV? Has he or she posted in your videos or?
No, I've never even seen him comment before.
Okay,
but he's up my
he's
ass.
Really
like
going after you, Johnny Boy.
Yeah, going after Johnny Boys.
He's up my ass like Barrera was up the Prince's. I know that.
Oh, now wait a minute. Also, I wanted to mention that when it comes to excuses, like I said, all these fighters, they have to make those excuses. Like they actually have to, otherwise they have to face the reality that maybe they can't beat the other guy. The only person that I remember that comes off, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's others, but off the top of my head, Costa Zoo after the Hatton fight, he could have said, "Hey, the referee, he sucked. He let Hatton hit me behind the head and hold and all that." He made no excuses. He said, "I lost, no excuses." So that's the only fighter that comes to mind that was actually that was willing to go there and say, "Nope, beat me fair and square." Then again, Costa Zoo was, I don't know.
I've seen some guys lose fights and keep it real, and I've seen them get delusional.
Yeah, I'm trying to think which ones. You know, the classic delusional ones are the ones that go right after the fight. Then again, you gotta cut them some slack because it's right after the loss. Their ego is all, you know, that they got a wound and their ego is exposed. But when they go in the post-fight press conference and they go, "I want to congratulate my opponent. No excuses. You know, no excuses." But I didn't feel right in there. I didn't feel. It's like, all right, you just said no excuses. Yeah. You know who the worst one is? David Lemieux. David Lemieux, every time he loses against Golovkin, you know, I didn't feel like I was myself in there. Okay. Billy Joe Saunders.
The worst has got to be Broner. It doesn't get more delusional than for that. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Like Lomachenko's on the other end of the spectrum when Salido beat him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, I'm not going to sit here and talk about. If I remember correctly, Kellerman was in there. How about the low blows? What do you think about I took a loss. I came in, I did my best, but I lost. Came up short. I'll be back. It couldn't get any simpler than that. You know what I mean? So to me, it seems like AJ's handling it all right. Whatever.
Well, he should. He's a fighter. Fighters lose once in a while.
I think it's the best thing that could have happened to him. Just this whole zero worship thing might have been the best thing.
That all started with Mayweather. Let's be honest.
I know. But I'm saying, if Loma didn't take that loss in the second fight, maybe not him, but maybe his management is protecting a zero that no one gives a shit about. Maybe he takes less challenging fight.
Listen, let me tell you something real quick, Doug. We already know what Andy Ruiz is made of: Snickers bars and upsets. Okay, now
Snickers
we're gonna
and what?
find out what Joshua's made of in that rematch, besides the juice and some rigged scorecards, I'm sure. But that aside, we're gonna find out what Joshua's made of, because great fighters bounce back off loss. That's what separates the good ones from the great ones. Mike Tyson, who I love to death, but he was overrated. Okay? Soon as he fought 93 bums, then he started getting his ass kicked when he fought somebody decent. Listen, bro, you know.
Your boy Evander.
Yeah, Evander lost to Riddick Bowe, won the rematch. Lost to Michael Moore, came back, won the rematch. Even Lennox, who I can't stand, got smoked by Rockman, came back, won the rematch. Duran lost to Esteban de Jesus, came back, won the second and third fight. Pacquiao with Eric Morales, same thing. Ray Leonard with
we gotta give credit to AJ if he beats Ruiz in the rematch. Let's just establish that right now. Because I know a lot of people, even if AJ wins the rematch, they're still gonna call him a shitty boxer.
Yeah, but I'm saying, bias aside, if he goes in there, I want to see the fight. Hey, listen, if Ruiz comes and wins, I'll fucking give him his props. I give him his props for the first fight. You gotta respect that, man. He fucking did his thing.
Yeah,
he's got power. He's fast hands. So hey, it's not. This is no like. I'm gonna pay attention this time and smoke Ruiz. No, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think that, and I don't think AJ thinks.
And by the way, I'm not saying that if AJ wins, he's a great boxer. I mean, his skills are like the whole heavyweight division is garbage.
True.
I mean, but what I'm saying is we have to give credit because I feel like we're really shitting on AJ.
No, just me.
Not you guys, but I mean, it's some other sites and whatever comments. So if he beats Ruiz, then man, that all this idea, like this narrative that AJ doesn't have a strong mental psyche, whatever, that goes out the garbage. If he comes out and knocks out Ruiz. That's
like Bucho. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I got one.
No, go ahead.
Go, Johnny.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, it's his mental makeup. Just like what was Revolution talking about that one day? Yeah, that's why Chris Benoit shot his little boy, because he got slapped in the head too many times. Get the fuck out of that shit. He got his ass kicked. There ain't no excuse. And when he gets his ass kicked again, there ain't gonna be no excuse then.
Wait. Are you talking about when he gets his ass kicked? Are you talking about Chris Benoit's son, or are you talking about Ruiz? Because I got confused there a little bit. You were talking about Chris Benoit.
No, I'm Chris Benoit's other son. I survived, but we're gonna see what Anthony Joshua's made of, bro, with a bunch of rigged ass cards and juice to the gills. So he take it to random ass Saudi Arabia because he don't want to give the kid another bone, a couple of mil for whooping his ass. And like I say, it's not the word of God. You can print up another contract and say, here, we'll throw you a little bit. We lost.
I feel your anger,
Johnny. Because it's in Saudi Arabia and they're bringing this site fee, big site fee. That's the reason that Ruiz is asking for more money, and the reason that he should get some more money, right? No one's paying that site fee except for these Saudis.
Well, I don't know about.
Go ahead.
I don't know, but I'll get something for the effort for whipping his ass the first time. That's all I'm.
All right. Well,
yeah.
You know what? This Saudi, I think Johnny brings up a good point. If these Saudi guys who are putting up all the money, from what I read, if they're putting up all the money, all they have to do is sell one of their golden toilets, and they get an extra $1 million that they can give to Ruiz. Why not? It's easy to do, right?
They're going to pay him in oil. They're going to pay him in oil. Now listen, the thing is that, I mean, you can't count somebody else's money. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, some people worry about, I want to be paid more because you're making this when you use my work to go sell it in a marketplace. Then now I know what you're making on that. Now they're trying to count your money without understanding all the expenses and responsibilities you got. So I don't agree necessarily with that, but like I said, they're gonna they're bringing forth a huge site fee. It's fine. I don't give a shit where they get the money from. I don't care how many slaves or human rights violations it takes to do it. Okay, because that's the way of the world to build anything. So because they're bringing that big site fee, now I agree that, and Ruiz is kind of right for asking for a little bit more, and they're gonna pay him. They're gonna pay him because they're holding the press conference. You know what I'm saying? If they don't make this fight, the $50 million, the site fee that they're offering is gone. This is not for anything except for this rematch. So they're gonna pay him, and they know it, and Hearn knows it.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. If they're really into this, then yeah, they're probably gonna make that. They don't want to end up with egg on their faces. That's for sure. What's Reality Voice says AJ deserves some criticism for the way he got beat, not for the loss. Final judgment will be in the rematch. What we know already is that Ruiz signed a contract. He's a scumbag for backing out.
That's not true. Chill. They're gonna. I mean, listen. Here's what I'm just trying to make clear to Johnny. Before I used to go, Johnny, man, you're serious about wanting these contracts signed? Johnny's like, I want this contract signed. I want the deal announced. Why haven't they announced, what was it that we were talking about, Johnny? Spence Porter. Why have they not announced it? I'm like, well, it's an in-house fight. They're going to have the fight. They're probably trying to sell the fight. And drug testing, a lot of things they delay the announcement of a fight, right? And Johnny's like, yeah, but I want the fight. So that might be what a lot of people are bitching about with Ruiz is basically that they see this as, for whatever reason, whoever's doing it, for whatever reason, even if it's justified that he should get more money, he's not putting the ink to the paper, and they want to see this motherfucker sign. I mean, so that, from what I hear, that's what the contract is. You're right. The shit changes. You know what I'm saying? People sign contracts in the NFL. Johnny follows the NFL. Guys hold out. They earn the contract. They don't report to camp because they're holding out because they had a spectacular year the year before, and they want more money for it. So that's a part of the business. And like I said, they wouldn't be announcing the fight and going forward with it. Then we're going to make this happen. Okay. He's in training camp. He ain't in training camp because he's not going to, because he's not going to fight. The motherfucker's throwing. He looks good in there.
That's
Ruiz
true.
looks good.
That's true. Then and bottom line, we hope the fight happens because we want to see some good fights. Next episode we're gonna talk about, or I want to talk about rather, because we're already past the halfway point of the year, and it seems like the fighter of the year is still open. There's still a lot of place for guys to become the fighter of the year. Then again, I'm looking at people's resumes and slim pickings, if you ask me. But we'll cover that in the next episode. And I want to thank everybody because we do have to go. But I
There's
want to
one question, BDA. I want to leave you with one question. Can I just ask
question.
one question about the heavyweights before we go?
Yes, please.
I'm not trying to be Bucho. I'm not trying to get out of control like Bucho and pop back to you. Hang on one second. Don't yell at me. But what is up with these heavyweights in terms of why do these guys that have the biggest punch, right? Wilder, let's just say AJ, he's got a punch. He's he's up there with the top, 4 or 5 heavyweights. Why do these guys with all the power and all the stardom and all the rankings and everything else, why do they have no gas tank when a guy like Kawaki and Areola fucking throw 1,000 punches at each other as hard as they can, all firefight? Why do the guys with all the power have no chin? I don't understand this. Wilder's on Queer Street every fight that he's in at one time or another. So is Joshua. I mean, Klitschko, this last fight, obviously. It seems like when they go for it, when they exert themselves, that's when they're the most vulnerable. Meanwhile, a guy like Kawaki can throw 4 billion punches and eat 4 billion punches and his chin holds up, but he's got no power. You ever notice that? Have you noticed that at all?
Well, Kowalski, or however you say his name, I haven't seen him. He did look like against Arreola very active. Didn't they set a record? We talked about it, right? They set some form of record for punches thrown.
Yeah,
in a fight.
It's unconfirmed, but there's a lot of punches being thrown. They didn't stop throwing those guys. Neither one of them. I mean, they didn't.
Well, it's muscle fiber. It's that muscle fiber they've got worked out, and also the way they train probably compounds that effect. Joshua, obviously, I think we know why his stamina sucks. He's too muscle bound. Wilder, because you look at
I'm
his
talking
body
about
type.
the chin. The chin. I'm talking about chin.
Oh, I thought you were
That's what I
talking
mean.
about punch output.
No, yeah, I'm talking about the guys that punch four times as many punches, right? But they don't have
Right.
necessarily the power. I'm just going to name Kawaki. That's top of my head. These guys can eat shots. No one's got such a vulnerable chin as Wilder and AJ. Both of them. I mean, shit. They get caught. Fury about knocked him out at the end of the 12th round. He turned the tide after that knockdown in the 12th round against Wilder. Fury had Wilder dancing around like like Bucho at a resto bar, whatever we call it.
Oh, at a quinceañera. Yeah. Listen,
Yeah.
I think it's also defense, man. I mean, I'm looking at the comments, and David Abraham says a big part of it is composure, I think. Nowacki looks much more comfortable in the ring than Wilder or AJ. It has to do with relaxation, it has to do with defense. Then again, they just might have a shit chin. I don't know if there is a correlation between what you're talking about, punching power, and having an awful chin. But it could be that too. I mean, it could be that these guys are so used to having their way with fighters that because of that they never developed the proper defense. AJ looks like he's got good defense with his gloves. He's able to pick shots. It's when he starts trading. I mean, against White, that's how he got caught. He was caught trading. Against Ruiz, he got caught trying to finish him. So, and then of course you got Wilder, whose his chin up in the air all the time. I mean, I think if I had to name just one thing, it would have to be defense. But of course, life isn't as simple as that. I do think that there's other factors in there.
Yeah. I mean, Wilder's not a muscle bound, and Wilder's 209. You know what I'm saying? Wilder looks like he should be playing basketball. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, Wilder has chicken legs, and his upper body is massive. That counterparts that,
I mean, everybody's saying the secret recipe for AJ is to slim down to Wilder's build. Like if he slims down all that muscle and he just gets real lean, like a Wilder, that's going to solve all his problems. But shit, Wilder, he's dancing all over the place in most of his fights.
Maybe not really all the problem. I get what you mean, but I think it would fix only those problems from the physical aspect, right? If he got lean and focused on boxing training more per se, and just straight up stamina improving, that I think it would do only good for him.
You don't think he trains boxing? You don't think he trains? You think he goes and lifts weights at Venice Beach at the gym out there and like works on his suntan? He's not a bodybuilder for real.
Yeah, I get you, but I've witnessed it myself firsthand that a lot of high-level boxers, especially the modern ones, I'm not saying AJ is not doing any boxing training, but boxing is just one part of a certain of a couple of blocks occupied the daily schedule. So, for example, they may have only 2 hours for boxing training or 3 hours. And the rest of the day until the evening is like, okay, now we do this part of strength and conditioning. Now we do this part. Now we do relaxation. The travel time, connecting all those events. So it might take up some time. And yeah, I mean, because the part that you do the boxing training the most is like your amateur days, right? When you do it practically nonstop, um, and all those other aspects like physical conditioning is either incorporated in the very boxing training, or there is a smaller window, um, dedicated to that. So yeah, I think it would help him, but it's just my speculation, really.
Yeah.
Just wondering that. Sorry.
It's a good point, though.
But
It's a
less
good point.
less selfies and more road work. That's what you're trying.
Yeah, true.
All right, fellas, we do have to go. So I just want to thank everybody who showed up for the panel. I want to thank Cameron, who was here. He always leaves early, this guy. Leaves early, doesn't say anything. He just comes in, pop, pop, pop. You know, he's like a drive-by. He says what he wants to say and then he drives by. We got also Pavel. We had Johnny Boy, King Butch, of course, my co-host. And who else? Did I miss anybody else? Was there anybody else in here that we missed? I think that was
You're
it,
clipping,
right?
by the way, BDA, this whole show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Clipping?
Not
Oh,
bad,
boy.
but I mean, I hear you.
All right, all right.
Good reception, but you.
I'll run some tests next time, see what's going on. Corruption in boxing. Butcher, why didn't corruption in boxing jump on though? Because he said he wanted a link.
I don't know.
Right?
Maybe he couldn't figure out how to use Discord because I sent him a
Oh.
link on Skype.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, man, that's really about
Read
it.
the guys in the chat. Read the guys in the chat.
Yeah, in the chat, Real Voice, Thunderdome Boxing, of course, official boxing scorecard, Mr. Coxey, the Quacks. Who else do we have here? Raskla222, David Abraham.
Grievous was in there too.
Yeah, ATTV, who was going after Johnny Boy for no reason.
Oh, I think he had some good reasons. Johnny Boy needs to be taken down a peg, if you ask me.
G Boogie. Anyways, all you guys, man, thank you for joining us.
Quacks.
We'll see you next time. And we're working on the boxing trivia show, so that's gonna be pretty exciting.
That's right. Very exciting. Couldn't get more exciting if you ask me.
It's one of the best things we've ever done on this channel, I think. The first trivia show was fucking great, mate. It was so funny. And the next ones are gonna be even better, I think.
Let's see if we can actually pull it off, though, Bucho. Come on. Don't start.
Oh, yeah, we will.
Don't start patting yourself in the back already. Oh, it's gonna be the greatest thing we ever done. Shut up.
It's gonna be the great. I'm confident on this, man.
All right, fantastic. So yeah, we were trying to organize this with Revolucion, coming up with some questions. And again, I want to thank everybody who came on the panel, on the chat, everybody listening. Hope it was entertaining and informative. And we'll see you on the next one, folks. Take it easy.
Take care, guys.
Take it easy, man. Oh, I said Pavel too. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time. I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in everyone. Disappointed in everyone.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in everyone.
Let me tell you why. It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot. He just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.